the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Jared, Vaughn, thanks for making the drive down. I appreciate it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Love your venue.
Oh,
It's awesome, man. I went back up there to reacquaint myself with kind of the whole layout and everything because it had been a while. And so I watched the Pie Hard show.
Ah, yes.
And I was very surprised y'all were letting flying food go on your stage up there.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about it, but
Yeah, it's a problem when you also have improvisers run a business. We'll say yes to almost anything. So we got that going.
Yeah.
for us.
That's y'all's background both is improvising?
well, I started doing stand-up first, and then
okay.
I started doing improv later. But yeah. So no?
Well, yeah, no, I think I've come from more for the improv background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so when you started the club, were you leaning more improv, more stand-up, or you knew it was always going to be a mix?
Well, it started because we had an improv troupe, right?
Oh.
So when we did it, we had an improv troupe, and we were like, well, we're going to do this because we were doing shows every weekend, but all those shows were improv. So we're like, we're going to open a club so we can actually do some more improv here. But then we're like, no, we need all of it. So then we started incorporating more stand-up.
So you were going to open a club just because you wanted to do more improv with your troupe?
Oh, well, here's the thing. No,
That's a crazy sentence.
Oh, actually, the reason to opening it was so we didn't have to lug equipment around
Oh, yeah.
every single weekend.
Oh, well, where were you doing it before that you were lugging equipment?
So we were doing it at a church. We would do it at a hall. We would do it wherever
Oh my
we could
gosh.
find space. We would just have these. We do it at the Plano Comedy Theater, right? Wherever there was a stage, we'd book a show and we'd do it.
And those shows
wow.
were anywhere from like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 11:30 at night,
Exactly.
10 a.m. They were all over the place. So
And not only that, we didn't control the sound system.
Yeah.
So things were always different. Things were moved.
Yeah.
And we did it for like almost 5 years. Just
Holy
basically
cow.
packing up a truck and bringing a sound system and props. And after 5 years, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Dude.
I mean, if the tool chest wasn't packed a certain way, then forget you couldn't find
Couldn't
it.
find
You're
it.
like, where is the whistle?
Yeah.
I mean, I really sympathize with y'all on that because when I first started this podcast, I was doing it in a temporary space. So I was having to set it up, break it down every time. It was such a pain to just try to get it all as consistent as possible each time. But also, man, you guys, improvisers in general, y'all are on a level of crazy that I don't think I understand yet.
I think
Because to
that's
do
totally
that,
fair.
to do that
Totally.
for 5 years,
Yeah.
that's a commitment, man. 5 years, that's wild.
Yeah, and it was just one of those things where it got to the point where it's like, man, you know what would be really cool? If we could just take all of our stuff and leave it in one spot. And when we come back, it's still in that spot. And there was like, you know what, let's just get a small space.
Yeah.
And when we started the club, it was only the 1,500 square foot, just that downstairs area.
Just the bar area.
There was no
There was
bar.
no bar.
Oh,
There was
okay.
no bar.
So what was it? Just restrooms in an empty space?
So when we first got into the building, we had 1,500 square feet. We had 2 restrooms put in, and then there was like a little green room area, a little back room, and then in front of that was a little concession stand bar area. But then there was in the corner there was the sound system, and in the very front of the club there was a wall that kind of separated the street from the audience.
Right,
So
right.
when you walked past the space, you didn't see the club; you just saw this kind of cool lobby kind of thing.
The
Yeah.
box office was like on wheels.
It was a
like
cart.
cart.
No,
Yeah.
it literally is. It's a wine
Yeah.
cart. It's a wine cart. It's
That's
a wine
awesome.
cart that we converted to be a box office.
What year was that version opened?
2017.
Wow, congratulations. Coming up on 10 years.
Thanks. Yeah.
Man, that's no small feat. I mean, y'all seen stuff come and go at this point, right?
What was
Oh,
crazy
we've
about
seen a
that,
lot.
though, is after having it for 3 years, we re-signed the lease. And then, 10 days
10
later,
days.
COVID hit.
Oh, wonderful.
So, yeah.
Well, you made it through COVID somehow.
Yeah, we took
How
all
did
the
y'all-
shows online and mastered Zoom before it was meant to be done the way it
The
is.
way it was, yeah.
You did the online shows with the club?
Can you imagine asking for audience suggestions and just waiting for them to type in their answer?
Yeah.
That
No,
was it.
it all sounds terrible.
That was it. Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we did different shows. We did all sorts of improv. We didn't do stand-up
No stand-up.
online.
I mean, we don't have to talk numbers, but like, how tight did it get through COVID doing it online? Were you getting worried that this could be it? Or did you feel like you had a runway where you could hang in there?
So here's the thing. It was like bittersweet. We're kind of like that shrimping boat in Forrest Gump, where it was like the last shrimping boat, and he was out there, and they made it, and everybody else ships didn't. When we signed our lease, we knew we were going to renovate our club at that time. So we were already in the mindset of, well, we're going to be closed for a couple of months because we did a major overhaul. Like we took that 1,500 square foot space and we added a kitchen, we added a bar, we added a grease trap. We
Staircase that connects the first and
Yeah,
second
we-
floor.
Well, it's like what you just kind of glossed over to. It's all the unimpressive things that you never see. It's like no one thinks about the expense of a grease trap.
Oh yeah,
But it's like you have to have these
Yeah.
things or you're not going to be able to run a business. And it's like you don't get to see we dropped this many thousands of dollars on a grease trap.
Yeah,
And
$15,000 on stairs.
Yeah.
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 Every time you walk on that stair, that's
Yeah, you're not allowed to just say, I think we can build that. It's like
Yeah.
there's city code and you got to
Oh,
worry
yeah.
about people getting hurt and lawsuits.
Oh yeah,
And,
it was crazy. But because it was during COVID, our plan was we were gonna build a space on the second floor and just have business happen downstairs like normal. And then when upstairs was done, we were gonna move the shows upstairs and then demo downstairs. And we were thinking, we'll be closed maybe a month or two for the.
So you were thinking you'll
stairs.
just wall it off by that front door?
Well, it was stairs. It was two different floors.
Well, yeah, but aren't the stairs inside the building? I'm thinking about its current version right now.
But the
Yeah.
idea would be is that open the second floor, renovate the first floor. Once the first floor is finished, then build holes and connect the two.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
you're closed for, in our mind, Thursday.
Yeah, I'm up.
You know,
However
How
long
bad-
it takes to build in stairs.
Yeah.
Had y'all renovated any homes or anything before this? Was this like the first major renovation you'd taken on?
No, we're both homeowners.
We've done some IKEA furniture.
Okay.
We've
Okay.
done some Lego builds.
So you knew the timeline was going to get off, and like it's always
Yeah.
more expensive, takes longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But when COVID hit, it didn't matter because everybody was closed. So,
Wow.
so
I mean, pretty cool timing considering you already had it planned.
that's why, like Forrest Gump, we got lucky. It was
Wow.
just
And then when we opened, we basically had all right, here's 3 tables. Now here's 6.
6 tables.
Now here's
So
9.
y'all opened when we still had to spread everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But we also did shows.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I keep
No,
cutting
no,
you off.
you go for it.
We did shows on our rooftop as well.
rooftop patio.
we
Rooftop
were
patio.
trying.
Rooftop patio.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess that's more.
Not our rooftop.
Just putting a harness on, hoping for the best. No, there's
Next to the
a
air conditioning
a
units.
rooftop patio next to our building that we put a bunch of chairs up there, and we're doing outdoor shows and things like
Yeah.
that as well.
I had no. Well, I mean, I guess I should have thought about that. But you were telling me on the way in that you actually have 3 stories. That's where the classroom is. But then I remember now Kevin Deanda did some promo where he was up on the roof. And I
Yeah.
was thinking,
Yeah.
they have this gorgeous roof up here.
Yeah.
You know?
That's our
Not
patio.
just AC units. Yeah,
That's our patio.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a massive building. How did y'all luck into that space? I mean, did you strategically plan for that, or it seems so perfect for comedy the way it's laid out?
Well, funny you ask. When we decided to open up a club, we were looking Plano, Addison, all these places, and we got a phone call from the building manager. It's like, hey, there was a company that was going to open a comedy club here, and they backed out. And they're not going to do it. Do you guys want to come look at the space? And we were like, McKinney? I want to go to McKinney. You want to go to McKinney?
I was in Dallas at the time. You were in
Carrollton.
Carrollton.
So y'all were
it's-
thinking Dallas,
Yeah, we're like
Carrollton,
close,
Addison,
close to where we live. And then we were like, well, let's just go check it out. What's the worst that can happen? We check it out. And then we saw it, and we're like, oh, okay, it's a brand new building. There's no other tenant. There's no tenants here. We can literally do whatever we want. And we're like, oh, it's got this cool square. There's a downtown. It's kind of quaint. It's all walkable. So we signed a lease.
And it was just slab, but the walls were even up.
There
so
were no
it just
walls.
looked like, possibilities.
just
like,
a shell.
It was an
Just
empty
an
shell.
empty shell, yeah.
There was nothing there. No walls. Nothing.
I mean, because I was looking at it when I was in the second floor showroom. You know, just the little details of how the recessed lightings, just down a little bit and all that kind of. And I was wondering how much of that y'all lucked into versus how much you had to build out. So you built
All of
out
it.
every bit of that.
Every single square inch.
Y'all did a great job.
Thanks.
It's a nice room, man.
Thanks.
How
Well-
many does it hold up there if you max it out?
Well, we can max it out at 80 uncomfortably.
Yeah, standing.
Yeah.
We've maxed out at 100 uncomfortable too, I think.
That's true, but they were really miserable.
Right. But we'll put them in there if it's.
Yeah, if you like the performer enough, you'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But comfort's been a big thing. Just trying to make sure that you feel like you've got elbow room, that you can get up and walk away if you need to. That if
Yeah.
there is, God forbid, a fire, you're not gonna. You have a good
There's-
chance of getting out of the
There's
building.
good
kind of thing.
egresses.
You've got those beautiful stairs to go down now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, and there's a back door, so you can go
Yeah.
to the back door, go down the patio.
No, it's great, man. I was talking to somebody about comedy clubs. I mean, I'm sure opening any venue is difficult, but these comedy clubs, it's like they have to have kind of a life of their own. Like your place has to have a certain vibe about it that differentiates it from these other clubs.
Sure.
I do love kind of ascending up the stairwell, wondering what we're going. The very first time I went there, I didn't know what to expect, and we're going up the steps, and it's so funny because there's all these cliches of like the New York clubs where you go down the steps
Yeah.
into a basement, and I was like, well, this is different. We're going up, and then it still feels like this little secret room we're in, even though it's this nice large space. It works really well.
Well, I appreciate
I
it.
like it a lot.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we designed that from scratch. There was nothing there, and we this is how we're going to do it. We met with an engineer and laid it out and on graph paper and said, can we do it this way? He's like, nope, can't put a wall there because the fire marshal won't let you. Can we put it here? It's like, yeah, you can put it there. So, yeah, it was all thought out.
What were the things that you thought were crucial when you were designing it?
crucial.
What stage? There's so many different stages.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What were some of the things that you thought like, well, we got to have this?
Well, one of the things that we didn't have the very first time around is like a big stage, right? So the stage that we had before downstairs was 6 foot by 10 feet, I believe. And we were doing improv on that. We were trying to do stand-up on it. We couldn't do any sketch on it. So when we decided to do this new stage, we were like, we're going to try to make it as big as possible, as we specifically to kind of cater to the improv, because improv needs a lot more space. There's a lot more people on stage. So that was one of the things that we were hoping to.
Well, and also a backstage. We didn't have a backstage at all. So we wanted something to store
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we first started, the club was like, we called it like a tiny theater. Because there were shelves everywhere. There was little hidden cubbies under the stage. There was cubbies behind the door, like wherever we can shove things, because we literally had no space.
Baskets under seats to hold
players.
Yeah, anything that we needed.
Lockers, like anywhere there was a square inch, we would stick something there.
You got to look back on that fondly though, because that's like the fun DIY, like make it happen.
Oh, for sure.
Weren't those aren't those kind of glory days of the club now?
Oh yeah,
of just making it work.
You walk into the club now. You walk into our little lobby. You look to the left on the wall, it's all pictures of what it was before.
I didn't even catch that. I'm gonna have to look at that next time I'm there.
And it also has the original blueprints of what.
Oh wow!
Before,
Also, when we first moved in, we always wanted to have a bar. We didn't know the city of McKinney requires you to serve food to also serve drinks. So we're like, oh, I guess we're gonna BYOB.
Yeah,
and that was
its own challenge.
But we didn't expect to start this with that in mind. So that was a big. Ideas that you think you're going to do, and then all of a sudden that's not happening.
Well, what were some of the big things you didn't know when you were opening it up? That you were like, okay, we'll do this, and then all these people come in and go, no, not that. You can't. I mean, you said the liquor license, you didn't, so you had to go BYOB. What are some of the surprising things about opening a venue that people might not really understand? When they're just performers or audience members.
So one thing that sticks out for me is our tech stack is all over the place, and what I mean by that is we got. One system that handles the website, one system that handles the food and drinks, and one system that does email. And it was because low budgets. We were just trying to,
what can we get for free?
Yeah, what can we make work? We're evolving now, but for the longest time, it was like just trying to work on all these old separate pieces that's completely blind to an audience. But from behind the scenes, it's
a nightmare.
Yeah,
it's a nightmare.
But it's all crucial, right?
Well, when we first started doing our shows as nomads, we would use Square to take our payments.
Oh yeah. The little adapter for your cell phone.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then when we first opened, we're like, well, this is how we do it because this is how we've always done it. And it's like, well, but no, now we need to sell tickets online. That doesn't now. It's.
Or I remember when it used to be, hey, who's got the phone this week to answer the call?
Yeah, we used to have a little
like
burner.
The phone. Yeah, isn't that crazy to think about?
We had a burner phone.
It was like the
you used a burner. Is that what you said?
No, burner flip phone.
They're now burner. It wasn't a burner then, but they're now used as that. But it was
No, that's awesome though, because it's like make it work, figure it out. Like you can't start with perfection. That's awesome.
No, we did a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
What were some of the mistakes? If you want to share them, you don't have to. Obviously.
Well, the flip phone was one of them.
Yeah.
The phone died, and we can't get any calls, and it's like that's not.
Or
a good
someone
thing.
went on vacation with the phone.
With the phone,
like, hey, I'm sorry, but you have to now answer this. From
someone took it with them somewhere.
Yeah, and they were like out of the country, which is like, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to answer calls at whatever time it is.
And
then text us back and let us know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough lesson. Yeah. But it's the little expenses you don't think about, and that they just start adding up on you. So you were coming at it from more of an improv background. Does improv in general, does it make enough money to sustain a club, or how do you guys balance improv, stand-up comedy, and getting enough money through the doors to keep it all going?
So it's not just we are in the business of comedy,
right?
Period. So whatever the comedy is, that's the thing. So it could be improv, it could be stand-up, it could be sketch, storytelling. So we don't just go, well, we're just this. Is it funny, and can we put it on stage? We have variety shows as well too. We've had comedy jazz. We have comedy magic. So it's not like how much is the improv bringing in today? How much is the stand-up bringing in today? It's how much is the comedy bringing in today? So we look at it a little bit differently than maybe some of the other clubs that are well, we're going to bring in a bunch of national stand-up headliners from whatever, and hopefully that'll generate tickets.
Yeah.
We're well, what can we put on stage that's funny?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is we named ourselves the Comedy Arena, not as in arena equals stadium, but as arena equals that we're in the arena of comedy, all things comedy. We're in the comedy arena in that regard. Which maybe you can say the mistake was people thinking, "Wow, I'm in a giant
an
stadium,"
arena.
and that's we learned that
Where are the
way.
Lions?
But our business is also we also teach classes. We also do private events. We get hired by big companies all the time. We have
Keynote speakers.
Yeah, exactly.
We do
So
keynotes.
there's a lot of different pieces that equals the bigger picture.
Is that usually the bigger, maybe not bigger, more reliable streams of income, like those events like you're talking about, classes, going to do, I guess you're working with companies, probably doing improv stuff with them, right?
I don't know what's reliable, to be honest.
Really?
Like I still have anxiety every Friday when it comes around. Like, are we going to sell tickets? Oh, good, we sold tickets. But people nowadays don't want to buy until the day of, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when you got your Pie Hard tickets.
Oh, it's probably the day or the day before.
yeah. So you're in the majority, I
Yeah.
think, with that, right? And that's a lot of people. So where that works it's hard to nail that down. But
yeah, that's pretty stressful. Yeah.
Right. And for us, it's like we're doing like maybe 6 to 8 different shows a weekend versus one
Headliner
right.
6 times that
So
one week.
we're delivering 8 different babies every weekend.
And
So
that's a lot to manage too. Just all the different ways of this person didn't show up, this person's running late, or
Oh, for
we
sure.
had to alter this. It's hard enough with just 2 shows a night,
Right.
let alone 6 to 8.
And they're all important. Like we don't look at one as this one's lesser or not. They're all hugely important for us. So
Yeah. Have y'all been noticing any kind of certain demographic? Like, are you getting a lot of people buying tickets who are, they know about these comics putting on the shows, or are you getting people in McKinney who just go, no, we want to drop in. We know this place is here now.
I think we kind of maybe have 2 different kind of.
I'll share you my opinion from going there a couple times after, but I want to
Sure.
hear yours first.
I think our customers are, hey, McKinney has a comedy club, let's go check it out. I don't think they're like, ooh, I heard this person's going to be there, let's go there because so and so's there this weekend. We might get a couple of those, but I think for the most part, it's like, what do you want to do this weekend? Oh, let's go to the comedy club. What's playing? Let's go to the website. Oh, here are the 3 choices. Oh, well, we have dinner reservations at 6, so we should probably go to the 8 o'clock show. Versus, oh, I really want to see this group. Unless there's like friends or you're promoting it or it's like a local celebrity kind of thing. I do feel we're almost like the movie theater. Like, I want to go to the comedy club this weekend. What time is it? What time fits best with my schedule? And that's when I'm going to go.
Do you like it being viewed that way?
I like it viewed any way where people come and see shows.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't care how they view it, as long as they come and they have a good time when they do come.
Well, because you guys do have a higher volume of shows than some of the other clubs here in Dallas, that have been established much, much longer.
Sure.
And I think about that a lot around here. Like there's some clubs, who have been here for a while, and you look at them and you're like, well, why are these weeknights always empty? Why do you have nothing going on? What's holding you back when you're that established and you probably have these deep email lists? So I was curious if when you're, less than a decade but still established, right? Yeah, I mean, are those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays crucial for y'all? Or do y'all see those as like the nights we got to put these shows on for the comedy community, for the performers to have these shows and opportunities?
We talked about that, but we also realized if we put a show on like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, we take away the opportunities for those open mic nights or those classes, or when people want to rent the venue, which happens more often than not. We risk that if we have a show going on.
Yeah.
But there's been plenty of times where we'll put shows up on Sundays or any other day of the week if it makes sense.
Sundays, Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are y'all finding that the kind of the North Texas area, like is it do you think it's sustainable to book high volume? Or do you get concerned? I don't know what the population is up there.
What do you mean by high volume?
Lots of shows as often as you can throughout the whole week.
Well, because we do stand up and improv, we'll have some weeks where it's just like, oh, this is just an improv week, and it just happens. That's what the calendar worked out, and it's just improv. And because improv is different, and a lot of people aren't really like, oh, what is an improv show? Jared does a really good job. We market the shows, and they're all a little bit different. So you can come see that first show that might be an improv, but the next show is also improv, but it's a totally different show, totally different vibe, totally different theme. Like we have one show that's Zoinks, which is based like on Scooby-Doo. We have another show that might be The Syncprovisers, which is all a singing improv troupe. We have Comedy Sports, which is 2 improv teams. So you can come and see 3 different improv shows in one night, and they're totally
The
different.
different cast. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Different everything.
What's interesting about the audience that come is that maybe they might come for a stand-up show, but they'll come more frequently for the improv shows.
Really?
The improv, for whatever reason, is having a better retention rate than the stand, which makes you then question, did they just come for a specific performer?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, are they enjoying the comic that's here, or are they enjoying the venue? So we have to provide options for both.
What do you think?
Well, that's a great question. We go back and forth on that all
Yeah.
the time. There are certain comics, I think, in the city that do have their own following, and there are even certain shows that we put on like on a monthly basis that have started to get their own following
More traction.
or the audience are like, hey, we're going to go do that again, kind of thing.
Yeah, I've talked about it on here multiple times. Like, I love that y'all have your club further north. You know what I mean? And because people want to open more stuff here in Dallas,
Sure,
and that's fine. But I think about all these people that are living in these areas, right? Like, if I'm coming to your club, I live here in East Dallas. I'm planning. It's like, okay, this is depending on traffic. This is 40 minutes to an hour, right? So like, this is the night. And so the flip side is, I know people in McKinney aren't thinking like, I want to come down to Deep Ellum, or I want to come down to this part of Dallas. And like it's a commitment that maybe they're not willing to do because we're all driving less and less, every year. And so then I think about all of these comics, improvisers who may not even take a shot at performing because they're not going to come down here for an open mic. Or what's the equivalent for that with improv? Is it always just classes and like a first level show?
We have they're called jams, improv jams.
That's where you can just show up, kind of like open mic for improv. Okay, yeah. So they're not going to drive down here for that. Like, they probably already have nerves, already have reservations, and then they're thinking, it's 45 minutes. That's a good excuse to get out of it. And so it's like, how many of these funny people are we missing out on in these outlying areas of DFW? That just now that there's an option, we might have access to this whole new group of comics that we never. So it makes me really, really happy. Like, you guys, I love that Tyler out Rose City Comedy Club's out there. It's like, I like the fact that these places are popping up all outside of DFW.
Yeah.
To then just kind of build it as a whole. I mean, it's DFW, but you know what I mean, not Dallas.
No, I completely agree. I think the more there are, it breeds more talent that then gets to work on their craft and get stronger and better as time progresses.
Have you been seeing that type of turnover where someone comes to watch a show for the first time and now all of a sudden they're coming to a jam or they're coming to an open mic?
Oh, absolutely.
So you're getting your own little crew up there, huh?
Oh, for sure. And it happens more on the improv side than it does on the stand-up side. I think stand-up maybe, I don't know, I can't really speak for that. I don't know if it scares people or if it's I think there are certain comics that are now watching what happens online, so they see the TikToks and they think it's a bunch of crowd work and that's what they're supposed to do. And that doesn't necessarily translate easily when they're doing that in an open mic environment, especially when a lot of that audience is other comics sometimes.
Yeah. What's the etiquette with improv when it comes to recording and sharing clips? Because it's all one-off. I mean, I don't
know if there's an etiquette. I think it's just
are they sharing the same amount online as stand-ups are?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Why do you think the holdup is on that?
I don't know if improv translates as well on video that stand-up might, because there's that interaction that's not being present somehow in video.
Yeah, so like stand-up, you're there, you're watching, you're taking in the information, and you're just laughing. Whereas improv, you're giving your suggestion, you're part of the energy. It feels like we are all, even the audiences, they're part of what's happening. But when you're watching that, it's like, oh, well, they're having a really good time in there. Oh, that's I wish I was in there. Versus,
you don't think that would translate to like a 2-minute video?
So Whose Line Is It Anyways did a really good job about it. They've been really good at introducing people to what improv is. Granted, their improv is it's really staged and it's kind of scripted. It's not as improv-y as like going to a show.
Scripted.
They're structured, not scripted.
Yeah,
but they're structured.
It's structured for
They've got some idea of what's going to happen a little bit.
It's structured differently.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's all improvised. It's just that for TV, they have to do things a little bit quicker.
Yeah, when I mean they know what's going to happen, I mean there's like a format that they know they're going to follow. Like at this point, we'll do this. At this
I just
point,
don't want the Whose Line
structure
guys coming out and saying it's not improvised.
No.
It is improvised.
Well, you can tell they have heavy hitters on there. We know that they're legitimate.
Oh, yeah.
Structured for TV and structured for stage are not the same thing. We perform on stage, so to videotape what we do on stage and try to put it on screen doesn't translate as being improvised for,
So that's a huge.
I also think think that with stand-up, a lot of these jokes have been prepared and tested and done over and over and over again, perfected so that they can now have the video showing that awesome setup, punchline, tag, etc. With improv, it's just, there's none of that.
Yeah.
You're not practicing this bit. It's whatever happens, happens. And maybe you'll capture lightning in a bottle, maybe you won't. But that's what's so awesome about it, is that when you do, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I just think about how challenging that must be for like an improv troupe to attempt to gain a following then.
For
you know,
sure.
because it's got to just be word of mouth at that point from people who were there at whatever show, and you got to come back until. And it seems like such a slow grind to get any type of following if you're
An
a troupe.
improv troupe is basically a garage band.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you just keep going up, you just keep performing, hope people in the audience like you, and keep coming back and following you.
Except the big difference is multiple garage bands might start getting together, and then we all play together,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So,
I mean, is that just one of those things that's just the way it is? There's no way to tweak that to help. You know, like if it's a new improv troupe at your club, right? And you guys are like, I think they're good, but they're like, how do we get people here? You know, is it really just keep doing your thing? I mean, is that the best is that all it really is at this point for improv as a whole?
well, I think that goes for all sorts
Yeah,
of
like,
entertainment,
that's
whether
not
you're
even
doing
stand-up
improv or
either.
stand-up or anything. It's how you're going to build that following, right? You're
yeah.
still trying to create a social media presence. Are you still actually putting, do you even, what's the relationship that you have with that audience? And I think sometimes that's a gray, who owns the relationship with the audience. I think sometimes gets a little, like we see it all the time where comics will do a show, they might kill it and it's awesome. And then they go out the back door and the audience is down. There's no even trying to
connect with them.
to say, hey, follow me, but there's no any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Or there might be some that try to sell their merchandise, which is awesome, but that's more of a transaction relationship now, not so much a, hey, come follow me wherever I go.
Right, yeah.
But we've had audiences that said, hey, I saw that person, open at some other club, and now I heard they're performing at your club. That's why we came.
Awesome.
So it does happen. It's just I don't know how many of them are actually trying to nurture that relationship.
Or know how to.
Yeah, you definitely see people who are better and worse at it.
Sure.
I don't think they understand. It's like just grabbing a quick drink down there, chatting them up a minute. It's all of a sudden that's creating that experience. It's going to get them to come back.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, not only is it a business, it's networking for the comics as well, too, right? So when you don't do that, like there are some comics. Okay, so I used to work at a club here in Addison, very big club. I don't know if I could say it or not, but
We know what you're talking about.
yeah, they use a name for a style that they don't do, but they, and I worked the door there for like 5 years.
Okay.
So I worked the door, ushering people out that probably shouldn't be there in the club. And I've seen a lot of the comics that come through, like all the big names. And it's really interesting of which comic, as soon as they're done, would go backstage and leave and disappear, and which comic would come out and greet the guests. Mm-hmm. The ones that greet the guests after the show, after everybody was gone, they'd be like, the staff, the audience would be like, man, that was such a great show. So-and-so was so awesome. I really love that I got to, because they got to meet the person. And now they like them even more, right?
Yeah.
Versus just seeing just a great show and then they disappear, to seeing a great show or even just an okay show. But now they get to meet them. It's like, well, now I feel like I know this person.
Yeah,
I'm
you've connected.
I'm going to support them. If they come back in town, I'm definitely going to come back if they took the time to sign my autograph or say whatever. So a lot of new comics don't realize that that's just as important as writing the great joke.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your customers are your fans. So treat them right. They're going to treat you right. If you're like, I'm too big to talk to them, I'm going to go sit in my dressing room after the show. Well, you're not doing yourself any justice.
I've also seen comics botch the compliment too, where the audience will say, hey, that was so funny, that was so great. And they're like, I don't know, I kind of screwed up that punchline. I didn't, it was my best. I had better. You should have seen me at so-and-so. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, cutting your own legs out there. Yeah.
Don't do that.
That's brutal. Well, I mean, but that seems normal to me because so many of them, they're part of the reason they're getting into the comedy is they're not good with the regular world and business and all these things. So this is probably, maybe they're not even too good for it. They're just too scared to even go talk to these people.
A lot of them, those comics that I mentioned, they're just shy.
Yeah.
Like when I used to work there, Mitch Hedberg would come up and he would do his set and he would have his head down the entire set, and then he would always miss the light. Either he'd be really, really short or really, really long, and then he'd come down and he'd be like, how'd I do? Did I hit time? And you're like, Mitch, you went long. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, you went short. But then he'd disappear. He'd go in the back and everybody would be like, hey, is he coming out for autographs? And it's like, no, he's not. He's in the back.
Now it's this unintentional letdown.
Yeah. So yeah, they're different. They're different.
How do y'all view that dynamic with, promotion, ticket sales? It's like you guys are doing everything on your end to try to build this community in McKinney, but then comics, it would be super helpful if they're moving tickets for you as well, right? Like, What's your philosophy on that shared responsibility? Like in a perfect world, how would it go
I'd say
where you guys are selling tickets and comics are selling tickets? What's the right blend in your mind?
I love when a comic will call me up or text me, like even constantly go, hey, how are ticket sales? How are ticket sales? Like me knowing they actually care I love that. That doesn't happen a lot. It almost feels like I can't tell what they're doing. But what's even harder right now, I think, is that they're in multiple shows potentially. So they're promoting
5-6 shows.
Yeah.
On
all different
one
places.
flyer.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure you've seen it. Like, hey, look where I'm performing. It's a tiny little, tour that's in the same 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
So they're kind of competing
Against themselves.
Right.
So what are your expectations though? Like when you see that, do you think like, oh, come on, man, like you're booking all this, you still got to bring some ticket sales in through here. I mean, how do you see it that's reasonable and fair?
Well, I would say still put out your graphic, but do it one at a time. Like, hey, I'm going to be here this weekend. Promote that. I'm going to be there this weekend. Come see me this weekend. If you're going to be at a different club after that show's done, then start promoting your other stuff. Hey, but this weekend I might be in your neighborhood. And this way, it looks like you're at multiple things, multiple graphics, multiple clubs versus one graphic that they're trying to use to promote all 5 shows and keeping that one graphic up for the month and a half that it is. Because then this way it's fresh. And then this way, when you put that club's name on it, it's just that club. And I'd be more inept to tag it, share it through our social media because it's just ours. But if it's ours plus 5 other clubs, I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. That might be the like a lot of people probably want to collaborate on posts and things, but they don't see that nuance of like this would be a reason why we would not be inclined to collaborate with you on that. Yeah. We're also. Well, I mean,
it's weird getting tagged on something, and then you look to see what you've been tagged on. You're like, where?
Yeah.
I'm not even in here. I don't know where.
Yeah. And I'll tiptoe around this because I don't want it to put you in any kind of weird position. But it's like there's 10 clubs in this area now, and then I think another one's opening up in like the mid cities, right? How do you guys view it as do you view it as this whole ecosystem where your club's trying to blend in with these other clubs? Or is it healthy competition? Or is it just too difficult we don't even worry about the other things because it doesn't matter to us?
We really don't worry about any. We can't. We have so many other things going
Not
on.
enough energy.
We spend more time worrying about how to make sure open mic is successful than we do a lot of other things. So no, all the other clubs are doing awesome stuff, and they got some really cool things going on. And we want nothing but the best for them because that's our philosophy on it. But we can't compare ourselves to.
Yeah, I mean, if these other clubs are doing well and people are like, you know what, I really enjoy going out to seeing live comedy, where else can I see it?
Okay, see, that's my philosophy, right? It's like everybody's going to win, right? But, you hear these stories. I don't know any firsthand, but you hear these stories through the rumor mill, and I'm sure the truth's somewhere in the middle about, where, hey, if you're performing here, you're not performing at my club, those types of things. So I was just curious. It doesn't seem like y'all would have a philosophy like that.
So
but when you hear that, and it's like, man, you're just...
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because I feel like if you want the... it's like a farm system, right? It's like you need the other clubs and their open mics and all these things to do well so that by the time we get you up to McKinney, you're polished, you're ready to go, and our crowds are happy. But I don't know that all of your club-owning peers share those philosophies.
Well, what's interesting is, so we don't have any non-compete radius stuff. Who are we to tell people where they can and cannot work?
I mean, is there anything that would even be close to your, like if you did do a radius? I guess Plano maybe?
Plano, I don't know, maybe Richard. It doesn't...
It's unnecessary, yeah.
But we've seen situations where we've booked talent.
Or tried to.
And they've like, hey, you're going to do this show on Friday. And then they'll go book somewhere closer on Thursday. And then that's where they start pushing all that audience.
And then it cannibalizes.
And it's like, we gave you this opportunity. You used it as a springboard for something else.
Yeah, that good faith handshake
so,
stuff. Yeah.
But again, we're not going to tell them what they can and can't do. We just wish that there was more of a, we're giving you a chance and you're using it for something else.
Yeah, it's super lame.
So now I'm sure there's other comics that have probably put us in some tier, but we don't have time to worry about any of that.
What do you mean tier?
Like this club is an A club room, this club is a B club room, or this because of the size or because of the distance or because of the whatever. We don't have that energy.
Yeah, I hear that talk. I mean, without dropping names, I've heard people say things like that of like, I'm not going to waste my time over in this area or this club, whatever, not yours specifically, but I think they're missing out on the broader, it's like the millions of people in DFW, and you're not going to try to cast a wide net and go, I mean, do you really care about the craft and growing your? I mean, if you can get up every night somewhere, isn't that the goal?
Yeah,
you know,
and get better and get
yeah,
stronger.
better and better and better, and
it's better to work in different, diverse audiences so you can get stronger versus working in the exact same spot every single time, the exact same audience laughing at your exact same jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't grow because you're not being pushed.
And just to clarify, I'm not a stand-up. I don't do anything. I don't plan to do any of that. I just enjoy watching it, right? But what I will say I've noticed about your crowds that I really like is because I'll chat them up. A lot of times I'm going to these shows by myself. Like, my wife's pregnant now. She definitely doesn't want to go anywhere, you know? And,
Congratulations.
And my buddies are here in Dallas, and so I'll hit them up straight up like, hey, man, I'm going to go check out a local show at a local venue, 50-50. I don't know. Could be great. Could be bad. I don't know. But if you want to come, and half the time they're like, I'm in, let's go. And the other half I'm going by myself. But when I'm by myself, I'll sit, you know, you guys do the group seating where if it's, I might sit with 2 or 3 other people that are strangers. And that's the first question is like, how'd y'all hear about this place? Y'all know somebody on the show? And each time I've talked to somebody, they're like, no, we just, you know, we heard about it, that it was down here, and we've never really seen comedy. We want to check it out. And I like that audience.
Yeah.
And something about in my experience, just sitting in the audience, something about the crowds when you're leaving Dallas, I feel like there's this more relaxed, like, I think they're coming in with a nice attitude of like, I'm ready to have some fun.
Yeah.
Where some of these spots in Dallas, you look around the audience and it's like, let's see if they're any good.
Yeah, make me laugh.
Dance, clown.
Yeah.
Make me laugh. Make me laugh.
And
I like your first 20 jokes. Give me your 21st joke now.
Yeah, exactly. And so even at the Pie Hard one, it's like, look, this is a different kind of show. I think that was what's his name? A-Train.
Aaron.
I think Aaron. I think that was his first time running that show at y'all's venue, right?
So Aaron took all of our classes from level 1 to level 2 to level 3. In our level 3 class, we teach you how to self-promote and how to produce your own show.
Oh.
So that was one of his first production shows that he's put on. So like we are comics who build a comedy club to help other comics. So like as I mentioned before, I've worked at other clubs and I saw what they do and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, but how can we do it a little bit better? How can we cater to the actual comic?
Yeah.
So we try to take care of the comics and build them up. So that show specifically, he said, hey, I have an idea for a show. And we're like, what's the idea?
He said, I'm going to throw food all over your venue.
Yeah, he's like
What's funny is that was not his first idea. His first idea, I'm not going to say what it is. I'll let him do that. But I was like, what else you got?
yeah. So we,
He's like, so everyone's naked. Okay.
you will get rejected.
Yeah.
But we're trying to build up the comics that are here. Some of the other clubs, they're like, well, we're an A club. We have these people who have been in movies and have been on Netflix and then so what local comics, they see that and they go, well, I need to be on that stage because so-and-so name drop here was there. So if I'm on the same stage, I could say I also performed at the same stage as this person. Where we are not bringing in Dave Chappelle, we're not bringing in Kevin Hart. So our club is not there. It's almost looked at as like, well, they're not bringing in the big celebrities, so it's not that big of a
But what's
deal.
weird is that we brought in a bunch of names that now are bigger names and cannot perform with us anymore because of their radius conflicts that they have with the bigger clubs now. So it's like we knew them when.
I have hopes though because really the only thing that limits that for y'all anyway is just seating capacity, right? That's really all that keeps a bigger name out is they want to sell as many tickets as possible, right?
Yeah.
But I do have high hopes for venues here locally that are y'all's size or even smaller. That I'm hoping the comedy scene really grows enough here because you know better than me, obviously, that it's like there is a lot of talent here, and it as much as we have, it still feels like we're in the beginning stages of something that's probably going to be much larger over the next decade.
Yeah.
You know, and I think your spots are going to turn into these cool drop-in spots for those people. You know, I think you're still going to book your shows the way you are, but these people who are playing whatever A club we're talking about,
They'll come and just get on the mic.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to run up here real quick, Thursday or whatever, pop in, I'm working on some stuff. And it's like that to me is kind of the dream as a fan of being like, yeah, we went to go check out this show and so popped in up there.
Yeah.
And I think as the scene's growing, and I think like you guys, these other people building things, you're all playing that part. But I think it's going to get there sooner than we think, where they don't view it as like Dallas or Fort Worth. They view it as just this North Texas hub of comedy,
yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think it'd be crazy to see like Dave Chappelle's known to pop in at other places, right? It's like who knows what the future is going to hold.
Yeah, exactly.
And aren't those more intimate rooms the fun, the the what you think of like the core of comedy.
Yeah, like the
this is
Unplugged.
where it's best, really enjoyed is in smaller.
Well, especially from an audience perspective, you get to be like, I'm sitting 20 feet away from this person. I think there's some no seat's a bad seat kind of deal.
I'll say this: the first time there were like two moments in entertainment where like I really recognized how powerful that was. One was watching Willie Nelson. We saw him at the Granada Theater, and this guy can play these huge venues. I was literally in my email when this like special pre-sale came up, and it was only because it popped up that I was in there that we even got tickets.
Yeah.
But it was just, we're sitting 30 feet away from this legend, and it's dawning on me. It's like, this guy's been playing music for like 50 years, and I've never really, as many concerts as I've gone to, I've never watched anyone who's honed a craft for 50 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, he's in another league, but then when you see it in person, you're like, geez, they're like this is really different than any other. I may only see 2 or 3 acts like this in my life. The second time that was like that, and it's controversial, but I stand by it, was Louis C.K. came through Addison after he was disgraced and was trying to get back into it.
I remember everybody was mad at
The moment I heard, because I don't even know that they really advertised that much because they were
They didn't have to. It
Well,
sold
I think
out like what over hours, right?
Well, my wife and I went, and I even looked at her. I was like, "Can we go to it's comedy. I want to see a pro on that level 30 feet away. I'll never get to experience that again." And it's like, I'll never see someone who's had, 20, 30 years in the business like that, 15 feet in front of me again.
Yeah.
And
and the way our club is lit, where the audience can see the performers can also see the audience. So there is that engagement, interactive possibility. There's more of an opportunity for connection.
Yeah.
Versus like some of these other clubs where it's just all darkness.
Yeah.
And you'll hear the laughs, thankfully, but it's like, I think I'm performing to a void.
Y'all prefer to see the audience in the faces?
I do.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially for improv, it helps because you're getting their feedback, and you're feeding off of that energy.
Yeah.
Stand up. I know most stand up comics would rather not see the audience because if they're not laughing, you don't want to see them not laughing.
Yeah.
But we train our people. You want to connect. You want to, when I teach stand up, make eye contact with these guys in this table, tell your setup here, but then deliver your punchline over here so everyone feels like you're talking to them. A room of 300 seats, you're just listening.
Yeah.
You're not part of it. You're just listening. No one's going to make eye contact with you because you're way back there in the back. So, yeah, I'd rather be able to connect with people. Because even if you're not that great and you bomb, you've connected as a human.
Right.
I'm not just a person that's just on a stage that can't be talked to, but now you're like, oh man, that joke didn't land, but we're together.
Yeah.
We're in this
You
together.
are human.
Yeah, we're in this together. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think there's magic in those. Do you guys have plans? Like, do you have dreams in the long term where you want to make, a bigger room? Or do you like where it's at?
So I'm originally from New York, and I've done a lot of stand-up in New York, and all those clubs are like basements. They're not 300 seats. They're not 500 seats. I think there's a reason why, right? You get that intimacy. You get to feel like you're part of a thing. Not knocking these bigger clubs, and I know why they are the way they are, because it's dollars. You make more money.
Sure.
The more seats, the more tickets, more dollars. But for us, our business model, we have more ways to make money than just the tickets. We have our classes, we have our corporate events, we have our room rent, we have other things. Keeping the comedy pure, where people still feel connected, and it's just not like a big, huge room. And I've been at some of those clubs where they've only had 30 people in the audience, and then you got 200 and plus empty seats.
Yeah.
That feels kind of bad, if you're a comic. But you have a smaller room, and you have 30 people.
Right.
Spread them out. The room feels full still. We can probably get away with 15 people in our room.
Yeah.
And it still feels full. We never want to have a 15 people in the
I hear
show.
you.
But, as a comic, you still get that energy from the whole entire room versus looking out and you just see 4 tables and empty.
Yeah.
Empty seats.
There was another club owner I had the luxury of talking to, and their club, one massive huge room, and then another room that's even their smaller room's pretty big. And it comes with its own problems of like, hey, it's still a new club. You still got to form these relationships with the community where they're even going to know that you exist and come buy tickets. And so that's presented its own challenges of, Yeah, you need revenue coming in to keep it afloat. And now, now this massive building, if it's a lease, your electric bill, all the other big payments that are coming because you wanted this big shiny room. And I'd ask them, I was like, do you ever think, I should have just started with that one room, and in their mind, it was like, no, go big or go home. But even when I got that answer, I was just thinking like,
that's kind of a cop-out answer.
Well, I just feel like there's so many lessons that you can learn. Where if you stumble, it's not catastrophic when you're doing it more the way you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, we messed up, but that's not the end of this, and I can recover from this and I can fix it and we can move on to the next show.
I mean, we've also started our business stair steps. We started with 1,500 square feet. Then we went to 3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Then 4,500 square feet. And we're probably going to move into another, expand within the building and get another 3,000 square feet.
It's wild that it feels so intimate. It's hard to believe it's that big already. But it's just,
it's 3 floors.
Because it's multiple floors.
But that's great, man. It's great that you have that space without it feeling, cavernous. And,
it's like a wedding cake, not a sheet cake. So
can you do anything with the rooftop?
Yeah, we're actually talking about potentially taking that over and making it just privately for us. So yeah, hopefully we'll have something up there soon.
Yeah, wow, what a great building. You guys really landed in like an awesome little spot. For people who don't know McKinney, that is an awesome. I grew up out further east down 380, out towards like the Princeton, Farmersville area. So, we've seen McKinney just evolve. Yeah. And the amount that city has invested into making sure like the squares and things are these functional neighborhood places, not just parking lots and strip malls.
Walkable.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really,
even getting an airport maybe potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, they're talking about controversy.
Even one of the, like when I decided I was going to go watch that show the other night, I was like, I was excited to watch the show. Okay, I'm not taking this away from y'all, but I was also like, and they've got that arcade downstairs. I was like, so I know I'm going to spend like an hour there after the show, go play some games. And it's like, there's just these other things where, it's not, you're not like on an island out there.
No, we tried that we are the entertainment district of McKinney.
Yeah.
Because we have the club, we have the arcade, then there's like a smoke shop down the street. There's just a little bit of everything. It's all walkable. There's restaurants. It's all walkable.
And man, like it's such an old man thing to say, but like they nailed the parking. Like I can actually park. I don't have to go
for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't have to go
parking.
a mile down the street for $10.
Free parking.
Yeah.
Talk about surprises. That parking garage did not exist when we first moved in. So after like a couple months?
Yeah, like a couple months.
A couple months, they're like, by the way, we're taking away all your parking, but don't worry, you'll have 500 spots.
Yeah, the building owner sold our parking lot back to the city of McKinney, and then they built that 5-level parking garage.
Wow.
So we got to sit there through that construction.
Yeah,
and we survived. We were fine.
You know what? I've been so lucky. I've never even had to use the garage. I get to parallel right in front of the door every time, and I'm like,
Princess Park.
Because we know you're coming. That's all.
No, but it is nice. I mean, these other spots, it's like I still go to them. It's fine. It's not like it's a problem, but it's just that those little luxuries you don't think about of like it just makes it so much easier.
Sure.
But yeah. Man, that's just, again, y'all are lucky, man. So many of these things kind of lined. I know you put a lot of work into it, but do you feel like it kind of fell together, or do you feel like it was just a grind the whole time putting it together?
I wouldn't say it was a grind. I mean, we work our butts off, but we also enjoy what we're doing. I mean, Jared and I both come from corporate America. We've ran that race, and to not run that race, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything, because we get to make our own hours. We get to decide what we build. If we want to expand, we expand. If we want to hire people, we hire people. I mean, it's way better.
What were your corporate
So many
jobs?
Decisions were made based over like a text message at like 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah,
like, what if we do this? Yeah,
should we change
good.
our POS system? This is a link. This is what it looks like. Looks good. Let's do
Let's do it.
What were the corporate lives like? What were y'all doing?
I was in advertising marketing, working on brands like Domino's, Purina, some bigger, multi-million-dollar budget kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was also in corporate America in marketing. I was in the creative side of it. I worked for JCPenney's, Amazon, Michaels.
Wow.
And we were kind of still doing that when we started this. And then we were like, let's not do that anymore. Let's just do this comedy thing.
Yeah. Did you meet through Improv? Is that how you guys formed the friendship?
I'll let Jared tell the story.
Oh, okay.
No, it's that. No, Vaughn was a part of a troupe, and he started auditioning people, and I was one of the auditioners. I was going through an audition phase. I just was auditioning for everything. It was like my version of Edward Norton's character from Fight Club, just like going, instead of self-help, I was just going to auditions for fun. But then I was also opening myself up for rejection all the time. So it started getting kind of awkward. I was about to quit, and then I auditioned for one of Vaughn's troops, and he said, sure.
Yep.
I think I auditioned in a space that's not any bigger than this space.
Cozy.
This might be actually
Small.
bigger than
Yeah,
this space.
this is big.
Looking back, it's probably a questionable experience now that I think about it.
I was not aware that you had to audition for these troops. I just thought it was just people, being buddies, and so they're.
Some probably are like that. There's
What-
probably
some are.
somebody's, but
What is
there's
an
also,
improv audition like?
Well, we run you through some improv games. We see how you, kind of like it's like a garage band. Do you
Yeah.
gel well with everybody else that's in the group already? Basically, making sure you're not a jerk.
I'll say like, hey, Travis, this is not a can of water. This is actually, tell me what this is, then try to sell it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I
was not going to do it. I was really hoping he would actually do that.
I've talked about it on here before. So I had a friend who she was just super funny. Like we were actually roommates, and so she had all this deep knowledge about like sketch and improv. You know, she was watching what is it, Kids in the Hall, The State, all these old classics, and but she was always too shy to really do anything about it. Definitely introvert. Like in her friend circle, she's life of the party, super funny, really witty. And then it was like a couple years went by. We weren't roommates anymore, and she actually was dating one of my good friends, and I think that they're married now. But
And that woman was Tina Fey.
yeah, right, yeah, Tina Fey. She's great. No. But then they went through one of the local classes, and we went to their like level 1 show or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this person's actually getting up on stage.
Yeah.
And, we got to see them with they're on the side waiting to jump in, and they got that fright, and you just, okay, I'm going to go, And then we saw them progress, and then now they're I'll tell you the name later because they might be teaching at your place. I don't know if they teach at multiples or not.
Okay.
But anyhow, so, and then of course I love those same shows, SNL. So I know what improv contributes, right? But man, I'm just so not the improv person. Like the yes and the freedom that you guys all have of just we're gonna let loose and just do some weird stuff. And it's like I've always leaned more towards the stand-up personalities.
Have you ever taken an improv class or done any improv other than just knowing what you've seen on stage?
No. But I at this point now, especially like with the podcast, I have no desire to learn any more about stand-up or improv outside of being an audience member.
Yeah.
Because my background's in music, and
Okay.
it's like, you know how it is. Once you're playing shows, once you're doing things, you pull back that curtain. It's like
Sure.
you know the other side of that business,
Yeah.
and you never experience it the same.
You can't
Yeah.
unsee the code.
Yeah, and so it's like I know enough by talking to folks like you to learn a little bit behind the scenes, but because I'm not actually ever doing it, I feel like there's always going to just be one nice little barrier to keep from those experiences where I can stay an audience member.
That's smart. That's smart. You don't need to know how the sausage is made.
No,
Just
and
enjoy
it's
it.
like you can tell me about it, but
Yeah.
not getting on that stage and doing it, it's like you'll still never fully understand, and I like that aspect of it.
When I before my corporate America job, I actually worked at way before my corporate America job. I had a summer job working at Six Flags. I was Foghorn Leghorn one summer, and we were doing that. There's like known as street characters, which are the characters that walk around the park, and then there are the show characters who actually perform during the show. You talk about not wanting to know how the sausage is made. I can't look at theme parks the same way anymore. But there's that conflict, I think, between like I write my own jokes.
Yeah,
I make up jokes on the spots. Like there's sometimes that conflict of those.
like mine is harder than yours.
Yeah.
yeah.
What's harder, dancing in a costume when it's 100 degrees out, or just walking around for 30 minutes? Like what's harder? What's harder, telling jokes? And I think writing jokes when you're kind of on an island, that is hard stuff. That's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Improv, I think, has a little bit of not a safety net necessarily, but it's more of an ensemble. But because of that, you probably have been witness to a lot of
Say it.
What am I watching here? What is
Bad
this?
improv.
It's bad. Yeah, it's
Listen,
bad improv.
I made a point to watch it at all levels, and it's like I'll still go to improv shows now because, the club in Deep Ellum, they'll do shows that are more variety shows. So you'll have like an improv troupe, a couple stand-ups, maybe somebody's doing something totally weird. And so I still will get that kind of improv fix. And like I respect it. I'm sitting there, I'm ready to laugh. I'm going to be in on it with you. more of what gets me is it's like I'm just jealous of the free expression you guys have. Not even on stage, like with your, it's like when they're like, all right, guys, we're going to loosen up, woo, and all that stuff. And I know if I was in that, I'd just be like, oh, screw you guys, screw you.
Well, no, it's true. Like if you see improvisers warming up and you don't know what they're doing, and then you walk into that room, you will think there's a weird cult going on, and you will turn around and get out of there.
But but I get it. It's like I understand what those exercises can do in terms of making you let go, get in this environment. I understand what it's for. I just know my personality where I'm going to be like, I'm not going to do that.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally
but
fair.
I like it. I recently saw an old clip of it was like Rory Scovel, Will Ferrell, and Rory. I know him from stand up. I had no idea he had this improvising background. And so I'm watching him do these scenes in this clip, and I'm thinking, I had no idea this guy was that good, and that explains why some of his stand up is so just left field, totally out of the norm. So I know what
that's
I know what it
Rory
offers.
does a lot of his new material. My understanding is that he'll do like one-man improv shows, and then whatever hits, he figures out how to turn those into
sketches.
Yeah,
I heard a rumor that he just booked like a 45-minute show with no plan.
I'm sure,
and just was like, let's go. And so I do love it from that aspect. Like I'm one of those that's like, okay, I appreciate where it comes from.
Yeah.
I'll go to if you're getting into it and you're a friend of mine, I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
And
But going back to your earlier question, is one of the reasons why we realized that our club can't just be all improv. Like it needs to be, that's got to be one piece of it. But there's so many other pieces of comedy. There's storytelling. There's written material too. This weekend we're actually doing a book launch and turning that into a comedy show. So we'll figure it out and make it funny.
Yeah. I want to see more locally. I'd love to see more of the like the one-man show. I love those when they're done. Obviously, it's hard to do it well, but when it is done well, like, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on this guy's name. Huge actor. And the only movie I can think of that he's been in so many movies. Did you guys ever see the 90s remake of Romeo and Juliet? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah. He's in that as the bad guy.
Oh, you're talking about John Leguizamo?
Yes.
Okay.
Like he has an incredible...
Oh, yeah, he's got all that. Yeah.
And it's like, I would love to... There's so many locals here, I think, that don't understand they have these interesting backgrounds and stories that people have no idea. And, a lot of them, you probably know, they want to hide it.
Yeah.
They don't want to bring that on. It's like, man, that's what I really
Don't
want
want
to
to be vulnerable.
Yeah, it's like that's the stuff I feel like that's really going to differentiate you and make you, being
Stand
yourself
out,
is going to be so interesting rather than this, character you're putting on up there. But yeah, I would love to. I feel like your venue would be great for those things.
We've done a few one-man shows, and they've been great.
Yeah.
I love it's only one person to contact to get them there.
And they usually all show up at the same time.
Yeah, they're usually on time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's like everyone. I think a lot of comics probably think that their headliner opportunity is their one-man show.
Yeah.
Versus the context, I think, of what you're referencing.
Yeah, I mean, I want a little bit of funny in there's fine, but it really is like, give me the story. Like, tell it's like one of the comics I've had the luck to work with. We produced this comedy special was Lawrence Rosales,
Yeah,
and it's like,
love Lawrence.
I've worked with him, intimately now on this project, and it's like every time I told him, I was like, every time I hang out with you, man, I found out some like crazy story from your past, and I feel like I don't know you at all.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's one of those like, dude, tell me just lay it all out for me. I can sit here for an hour and a half and listen to this, And I know that all the characters within comedy, improv, all of it, it's like the stories like that. It's like that's not a isolated thing with Lawrence. It's like these are all characters, and it's like give me the character.
Yeah.
Don't hold back, So yeah, I'm fascinated to see where that stuff could go. I do want to get some of the questions that people asked.
Sure.
One of them was a jerk question, but which you guys are probably used to seeing online and stuff. But
Trolls.
yeah, well, there's people who are maybe more at the beginning of their comedy thing, and so when you're like, hey, what do you want to ask these people? They're just like, yeah, why aren't you booking me? That kind of stuff, right? We all know
we'll tell you.
We all know the attitude. Yeah, but I thought a more
names.
I thought a more constructive way to approach that would be like, there are those people who feel like, I don't know what their deal is. They just don't like me. Screw that club, whatever it is. But really, what is it you're looking for when you're booking people, or maybe more importantly, when people aren't getting booked? What are some of the reasons why it's like, oh, you might need to still work on this?
Well, sometimes it just ask. Like, I think there's comics that are asking, why are we not booking them? And we have no idea who they are. They just think that we're going to, we're
Find
out
them.
scouting and looking for people. And that's not necessarily potentially how it's working.
Yeah.
Do you have material? Is it good material, or is it just a bunch of dick jokes? Like, is it going to make our audiences happy? Are you going to push them off.
And I can't remember, y'all aren't a like, are you a clean club?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, I thought I heard
We have shows that are clean, but
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not described as a clean
Club.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do y'all still feel like you need to put some rules on like newer comics so that they develop, or do you just let them do their thing?
No, we don't really put any rules on comics. Like, so our open mic, we might be like, hey, no hate speech, no, like, just because it's an open space, there
Yeah.
might be customers that they didn't pay to come in, they just are there, and the last thing they need to hear is somebody ranting about, something that they shouldn't be ranting about. So
Right.
we'll curb that.
Normal niceties.
Yeah, yeah. If you're yelling out racial slurs or bashing women, or we're gonna shut you down.
I'll say these are some things that if you do in your act will make us go, I'm not going to call you up anytime soon.
Yeah.
What are those things?
If you start talking negatively about the club immediately, like, what is this place?
Well, that seems like a no-brainer, right?
It's like a no-brainer.
You think like
You
a
would,
no-brainer.
well, and if you're gonna do that, right, it's got to be so tactful that you guys would be able to laugh at it and think, well, that's hilarious, and you got to be so skilled where it doesn't sound like you're tearing apart the club, that we're all in on it,
Well,
and that's incredibly hard to do.
Usually, what it is, it's like they're nervous and they're like, I got to talk about something that I can see. So so it's like, Arena, we could have had this show in my living room. It's like, we probably could have, but the show didn't sell out, so nobody came to see you, so it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
We've had comics that immediately believe that they should get like 10 comps without ever talking to us about it, and then we can't sit them, and they get angry about it. Like, where's this? You didn't even talk to us. Like, where's that coming from? That
Right.
doesn't always sit well. What are some other things that we... if we've ever heard you badmouth, even if they're not... If we hear you badmouth another club, that turns us off,
Yeah.
because we don't know. It doesn't matter if it's not ours. The idea that you're talking negatively about some other club is kind of an off-putting...
yeah. Well, if you're doing it to them, you're probably going to do it to you as well, right? It's
Yeah.
like if you have a friend who's talking crap about all your other friends, you're probably talking about me too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Or not polite to our staff.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not polite to our staff, if you're just, entitled and you just come through like you're the next big thing and you just are rude to them, that's a quick way of not coming back.
Man, it's crazy to think that.
Or you make them uncomfortable by trying to hit on them and saying things that are...
Yeah,
that are
I can
inappropriate.
I can imagine that. I can only imagine just all the stereotype stories of like hitting on the waitress and that kind of stuff.
It's interesting how often the staff will tell us, like, oh, I really like them, or I really liked her, bring them back. Like, that goes a long way,
Yeah.
because they're hearing jokes
All the
all the
time.
time.
Well, when I was playing music, that was a big thing of ours. It's like, we're going to meet the door guy. We're going to meet the sound guy. We're going to talk to these people. If we made money, we're going to like tip those people on the way out of our band money, just to be like, it's like you're working that second audience,
Yeah.
And it's like that way, even if we didn't have an incredible night for some reason, if we're trying to book again and whoever that is that's checking the email is like, oh yeah, so-and-so really like them.
Yeah, they
And it's
don't-
like, maybe we get a little leeway
Yeah.
here, while we're in the early stages.
They got to be mindful because we're not always there.
Mm-hmm.
So the staff, they are our eyes and ears, and they do come back and report to us. Like they would say, "Oh, that guy came up and he just did all this stuff," and we would be like, "All right, well, we just won't book him again." Or they'll say, "Oh, this guy was just hilarious. He was funny. We should probably talk to him." And we'll go, "Okay, well, our ears are now perked. And like, who was that guy? Let's find out."
And Vaughn and I are very well... We understand that just because we don't think they're funny does not mean they're not funny. Like, we'll book people, even if we don't think they're funny, does not mean that there's not an audience for it or what have you. We want to make sure those people have those opportunities.
It's like
So-
music. There's
yeah.
different types of music.
When it's
and-
like that, though, how are you gauging whether it's not funny or you just don't like it? Are you watching the audience? Or are you talking to the staff?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah?
People will come up afterwards and say that was so good, you did so great, or the staff might say it or something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you just go, fine, we'll bring them back.
just listening to everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably get at least 50 emails a week of, hey, here's my availability. And it's like the entire calendar. And like, I'm going to go look at my calendar, then sync it up
Marry
with
it up.
theirs.
Stuff
Or
like that.
So you prefer it when they're like, hey, how about Saturday the 12th? You got anything open there? Like you.
It depends. Like sometimes that email will come. Like I got one today that was like, hey, I'm available this weekend. And I'm like, I've already booked
Yeah,
this
do you
weekend.
think
I booked
we're-
this
do we think I
weekend.
have nothing
So
booked
then
this
it makes me
weekend?
feel like you're not even looking at the calendar to know that I don't even have a show. Like,
The ones that we like actually look at the calendar and they go, "Oh, I see you have some openings on these dates," or "There's no shows listed here. I'm available." And it's like, oh, okay, well, you're at least doing the homework.
Yeah.
And sometimes I am a sucker for, hey, I've got family in town this weekend. I'm going to bring 12
great.
people.
Now they're all going to email you this way, man.
I know, but I'll call them out on it too, because it's like I've also gotten that I'm so sorry none of them showed up, or they're all busy with somebody else, and all they're going to do is that turn me off immediately. That sort of thing.
Man, one of the emails I remember from a long time ago, we played at this club. We thought it went well, and it was like 8-9 months later, we're going to do like a release show for some new music, and we were going to put ourselves in like the great, kind of like the feature slot.
Yeah.
And we had this local headliner who could help draw, and it was going to be this big thing. And the owner really wasn't vibing with us coming back again, and we couldn't figure out what it was at all. We thought, we did everything
well.
right, And then finally, somehow we got through, and they're like, yeah, we're going to do the show, but can you bring more than 6 people? And they were like, you had 6 people last time.
Yeah.
This place holds this many hundred. Do you think you can manage that? And we're like, oh God, like we thought we had done everything else right, and we didn't even bother to like promote it properly.
Yeah.
We were just thinking about only the show.
The music.
Yeah.
And
The show part, not the business part. Totally.
Yeah. And it's like, then, just that, like, I know a lot of people would look at that and go, what an asshole. I can't believe he'd phrase it that way. But we took it as like, okay, we gotta make this right. And then the show ended up being great, and we had this new relationship with this venue,
Yeah.
Out of all the comics we've ever booked for the years we've been doing this, there's only been one comic that's ever asked, how'd the club do tonight?
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I will book you again because you care. You actually care about that stuff. You were interested in that this has got to be a mutual, we all have to win here.
Well, that's why I asked that question, because there seems to be this, the question about the responsibility of kind of moving tickets, because, I'll talk to some comics and they feel like it's venue responsibility, and then I never know if the venue feels like it's comic responsibility. But, I'm like y'all, I feel like if you're going to perform a show, it's like you guys are promoting your club.
It's a relationship.
Yeah, the way you're going to, for the people in that area to know you're an option here. But you still got to get out. Like, are you doing these old school things? Like, are you coming up to the club, even if you're not performing, and telling people like, yeah, actually, we got a show here next week, or whatever?
I think if the talent doesn't want to promote it and it's all on the venue, that's a choice. But if it doesn't sell well, that talent should be thinking that they're probably not going to get booked again.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we
And
did
be
it. We tried it.
mindful of that, and don't come back to us in 2 months. Like, hey, you guys haven't booked me in a while. It's like, yeah, you sold 6 tickets.
Yeah, exactly. 6 tickets. Anna Barden said, not a question, just thank you for the cheesy bread. They always put on cauliflower crust for me. So
you're welcome.
Shout out about the food there.
Food's
delicious, by the way.
I'll tell you, Anna's one of the braver comics who's totally comfortable having her last joke be a joke where she leaves the stage and is not even there for the end of her.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet with her.
Oh, it's
I'll have to check it out.
pretty brave.
It's really
I think it's
good.
pretty brave.
Okay, good. I think we kind of touched on it, but somebody asked, besides being funny, what are you looking for with performers? Funny is the prerequisite, hopefully, but like when you see a performer that you really want to work with, we kind of touched on it.
I think it's the business side, right? It's they making sure that everyone's going to come out winning and that they're going to, because here's what's really hard as a club sometimes is that if we get that, we've gotten 1-star reviews that really should have been given to the comic. The comic bailed, and now we're stuck with
We're stuck with the 1-star review.
The comics don't have like Yelp for them. It's all going to be on the venue. So if they don't do their job, we're the ones that are penalized for it.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget about that. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can turn on an audience fast. Just one night.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had a comic that got into it with I don't say got into it, but he was being heckled, and then the comic got back, and of course the comic got the best of the audience member, and he was angry because he was embarrassed. He was made fun of. He looked small in a group of people, so he got angry to the point that I had to remove him. I removed him. I said, hey, you know what? I'm sorry that this comic wasn't for you. I'd love for you to come back and see another show. But then he started cursing at me. And then I said, well, that offer is now rescinded. I'm not going to, I don't want you back.
Yeah.
But here's what happens. I tried to do everything to make that customer happy, but at the end of the day, his wife gets online. This club is blah, 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 da, 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 da. And it's like, well, I was trying to make the situation better, but I can't control what the comic did on stage and what you guys thought about. You should be mad at him.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're mad at the venue. So now we carry the load for the person that was on stage.
I've been, trying to form my opinion a lot on comedy crowds at clubs. And, like there are clubs that have deep email lists here locally that will paper rooms for the comics that aren't selling the tickets, right?
I get those texts all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And trying to think how to say this politically, but basically, it's not the papering of the room that's the problem, in my opinion. It's that I think if you're not focusing on the ecosystem of comedy and your performers and your open mic and making sure there's always this farm system of talent coming in that you can throw in on your MC and your feature set and blah, blah, blah. You guys already know this. But then I feel like you're training your audience with bad comedy. And then when you're doing that, you're getting, maybe you're not getting those A-list headliners that your place depended on for a long time, and now we're having to paper the room. And so now you're not getting, comedy fans anymore who are thinking like, I love comedy. I didn't know there was a club here. I'm going to go check it out. And so now all of a sudden I'm going to these shows where the rooms are papered, and like literally, it's one of them. It's like this group's fist fighting on the way out while they're, people are getting punched, and the host is trying to pull them apart, and the headliner on stage has no idea what's going on. And so part of me thinks like, that guy who's getting in your face, it's like, well, good riddance. You know, I want a comedy audience that loves comedy.
Exactly.
But I'm curious, as business owners, do you feel that same way? Or are you thinking, hey man, we want people in here, we don't care, Or kind of how you view it?
I don't think so. We've never done a paper room at any time. Most of our audience, I bet 60 to 80% has never been to a comic club before.
We're the first,
right? So this is their first experience. These are the first comics they've ever seen. Now, sometimes they'll say like, "Oh, I went to another club," and they might name drop the club, and then they'll tell us their thoughts on that. I'm like, "Okay, well, that was your experience there. How was this compared?" That sort of thing. But because it's the first time and this is their first, seeing of it, it's really important what their first thing is going to be heard or seen. And that's important. That's important.
It just seems like when they're doing it that route, there's a lot of people who are there where the comedy is the afterthought. So they don't care if they're being a problem.
You kind of get what you pay for. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to like, it's a big room you got to fill up, huh?
Yeah.
Sucks you got to do this, right?
Well, I think that's
now everybody's paying for it, literally.
Yeah.
Our shows run probably about an hour, where I think a lot of other clubs might do closer to an hour and a half, maybe 2.
I will say I appreciate that it was an hour.
Yeah.
Because it's like, leave me wanting a little more.
Sure.
I'm down with that. And to something we haven't talked about, you guys are pricing it for the hour, which I really appreciate. I love the 3-tier pricing you have, where if I'm having, if I'm having a good month and I feel like paying the higher price, throwing you a bone.
Yeah.
But also if I'm having a bad month and I can pay the cheaper price. Love it. Absolutely love that. And then, because I was thinking like, okay, these are affordable tickets. Y'all don't have these sneaky charges when I get my check and all that stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And
the tips are not automatically included.
Yeah, they're not automatically included. You have to add that yourself.
I'm fine with that. I just, and if they are included, I don't care. Just make it very clear. I just want to know that I'm not stiffing a server, right? Yeah. And but there's some spots. I'm sure you know them where like you get your check and you're like, what is a service charge?
Yeah.
For like, and I paid a service charge on the ticket. I'm paying a service charge on my drinks. Where we, it's like we already have the 2-item minimum. I'm fine with.
Got a chair rental.
Yeah, and it's like, what are we doing? And like, does any of this go to the
if
server?
You want your
like,
chair to face the stage, it's another cost.
Yeah, and it's like going to a comedy show shouldn't be like $120 experience every time.
It shouldn't be.
Right. It should. I understand if it's a big name, but if I'm going to just check out a local show and it's this much, that it like makes me so angry. You want
to make it cost effective so everyone can have access to comedy.
Yeah.
Well, because that's just one aspect of the cost. We don't know if those people had to get a sitter. We don't know if
they had to Uber there.
Yeah, if they might have. Yeah, exactly. Like we're seeing one piece of their evening, but there might be more expenses that we just don't have visibility into.
Yeah. Well, and the non-regular comedy goer, they're already thrown a little bit with the 2-item minimum.
Sure.
Most people are fine with it. It's like, oh, okay, that was a thing. We didn't know that. Okay. But trying to explain like the 2-item minimum, a service charge, don't forget to tip the waiter on top of that.
Yeah.
All this, it's like all of a sudden you're putting these barriers where people are like, we did that comedy thing, but I don't know.
Felt like a money grab.
It was pricey. Yeah. They weren't that funny. There was these obnoxious people next to us that they never kicked out, and and it's like how many comedy fans are you turning off with that experience?
Sure.
Whereas with you guys, more affordable pricing, the show's not dragging on. I've been to, a 2-hour show and you're like, please just end.
Yeah, just please.
Please. Nothing is this funny,
Not for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I do like it. I'm really happy to hear some of y'all's philosophies on, like you were saying, we're here for comedy first.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say that, but, it's their spot, it doesn't shine through quite like that. I'm going to slip up and say names, and I don't want to do that.
Just fix it in post.
Yeah, he'll edit that out.
Edit in post.
So what's the best advice you would give to the young up-and-comer that wants to produce a show at your club?
I would say write jokes.
That's it?
Well, so a lot of these new comics, they come up and they just want to go up on stage and they think they could just wing it. Like, I'm funny. I'm naturally funny. Everyone tells me
You
I'm
get
funny.
a lot of that on stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
I especially open mic. Open mic where people, they're like, well, I'm going to do comedy, or I do comedy. You do one open mic and now you do comedy. But they don't write any jokes. They just figure that they're just funny because their mom told them that they're funny. Their friends told them they're funny because they laugh at all their jokes. Well, they're going to laugh at your jokes because they know you. They love you. They're your friends. They know your backstory. Write jokes.
Yeah, if you went to an open mic and took a drink every time a comic said, "What do I want to talk about tonight?"
Or what's in my phone?
Yeah.
Let's see, what jokes do I want to like? Write some jokes. And an open mic is a great place to have jokes that you've actually written because the other comics will notice. And the audience, if there's people in the audience, they will notice. They can distinguish. They can go, "Oh, that person was funny." Even if they didn't laugh, they know that they can tell that they wrote a setup, they wrote a punchline, they wrote some tags. They can tell that they put in the work versus just, I'm a funny guy, I'm just going to start talking and hopefully something funny happens. Hey, what are you wearing? I see your shirt. And they try to go into the crowd work and it's like, no, write some jokes. Write jokes.
Now, one of the things we realized recently, trying to figure out how to solve the problem of how do you get to be an open mic comic who's doing 3, 5, 7 minutes and then make that leap to now you're hosting a show. Because that's a giant leap. You're now the face of the venue and you're trying to take care of everybody and you're basically working for the club at that moment. And now you got to take that giant leap from 10 minutes to maybe 15 if you're featuring or 20 depending on how it goes. Or, these are giant leaps of... It's not like you're going from open mic assistant host to now, right? So how do you give? We want to try to figure out how to give comics those opportunities so that those steps aren't as huge, and they can still maybe fail a little bit, but it won't be such a giant. Because
How do you think you include those steps? Like, what do you think?
So, like now,
what have you been doing?
Well, like right now, we've got a show called The Best of Stand-Up Showcase, where we're trying to like give people opportunities to have their 5 minutes or maybe 7 minutes with another group that can do 10 or 15 and get them to work on that. But also what ends up happening, right, is that your host is the guy who or girl who will always introduces the next person versus giving those comics an opportunity to be, hey, let me bring out your next comic and show how they can have what those hosting skills can be. We just want to provide more opportunities for that to take place. And then if we see how well and successful you are there, then we know maybe you can handle a crowd for a full weekend.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've got an idea for a show. But a lot of the ideas of shows people want to produce are, hey, it's me and 6 other guys, and we're going to do stand-up. These guys are going to have 5, we'll do 10, I'm going to close with 20. You can see that show anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what's the show that's a little bit different that maybe you can't see everywhere.
So you feel like having that little extra hook really does differentiate it?
Well,
totally.
Especially
but
if you don't have a name. If you don't have a name or a following, you kind of need that little extra.
And we've produced a lot of shows that done at Comedy Arena first with some cool little concept, and then shortly later it goes
They take it
somewhere
elsewhere.
else.
Do you like to run it on a hey, we'll try this for 3 weeks, see how it goes, or do you like to go show by show when it's those more unique
I think
concepts?
that puts pressure on the talent if you tell them, like, let's just do a really kick-ass one first.
See how it goes.
Go how it goes. And then usually before the night's over, you'll know if we're going to do it again. Or they'll say, hey, I can see where there's some opportunities where we could like tweak this and fix this. I want to fix this, this, and this. And I'll go, great, let's get you on the calendar again.
Yeah.
Well,
knowing you have a performance background, and you're still performing, I assume, right? Yeah. Do you feel an obligation as the owners, the bookers, to kind of go case by case with the comics and say, like, here's what you need to be doing with your set? Or do you like to keep more of a hands-off approach and just go, let's see what you got, and we'll tell you if it's working or it's not working?
if a comic asks, I will tell them, but
Yeah.
rarely will I offer my thoughts because they've got a rhyme and reason for what they're doing. And also, just because it didn't work that one night doesn't mean it's not working somewhere else.
Yeah. But you hear these stories of these. Well, you said you're from New York, right? It's like you hear stories of like who's the famous booker at the Cellar or the Comedy Store outlet, where it's almost like they're guiding these people and telling them, if you want to be on my stage, this. And
so I will tell a comic if they wrote a joke and it doesn't hit. I'll tell them, I was like, hey, do you want some feedback? And 9 times out of 10 they'll say yes. And I'll say, well, this is why that joke didn't work, because you used this word instead of that word. You paused. You stumbled on top of this. You had a missed beat here. And they'll go, oh. Or I'll say the continuity doesn't make any sense. Like, you said this in the beginning, and then later you said that, and they don't match.
Yeah, I've seen a comic who talks about a joke about his wife, and then he hasn't rewritten the joke yet, so his girlfriend is also still in the set.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, maybe
so you
don't
gotta
update that.
So we'll call them out on things like that, but it's not to embarrass them, and it's usually off to the side. It's like, hey, work on these things. Now, when they come back, and if they don't do it, and it's the exact same fumble, then it's like, oh, okay, you don't want feedback. You just think everything's already perfect, even though people aren't laughing.
Yeah, because I worry that's a big part of what's missing around here. Is I think there's a lot of comics who have an idea, but I don't know if a lot of the owners, bookers, producers, whatever, are giving that feedback of what they've seen, not necessarily with the artistic, creative part of your writing, but just going like, hey, if you want to go into a host spot or a feature spot or a headliner, these things aren't going to work, And I don't know if some club owners just aren't as involved in general. Like, they maybe aren't even in the club that much, but you guys seem like you are there a lot.
But we've also seen instances where comics will ask for our feedback, and they go, be honest, let me hear it. And then we give it to them, and they
crumble.
It's like, oh, we don't get to see them anymore.
They crumble.
Oh, really?
I think they think that there's something really smart there, but we say, like, this doesn't make sense. It's not even true. I can tell it's not true. And when comics write jokes, they're like, that didn't happen.
You're like,
that didn't happen.
Okay,
don't lie to the audience.
So this is kind of why I'm saying, like, I feel like I've watched enough comedy now where, I can easily just be like, God, I don't believe one word you're saying right now, and this is super lame. And I bet there's something really interesting about you if you dug a little bit, and you could just get rid of all this fluff, like.
Oh, yeah.
But, as a podcaster, it's like, I reached out to somebody after the Pie Hard show and was just like, hey, man, I cringe even texting you this. But you did this, this, and this, and I thought you were going to hit it with that again here, like this rule of 3 comedy stuff, And I was like, take it or leave it. Tell me to fuck off. I don't care. But but I do feel like, guys like yourself, you're stewards of the scene now, and that surely that gives you the ability to do that for comics.
Well, what kind of helps as well is, like, I teach our stand-up classes. So if I go in and give you a note, it's like, I'm not even charging for that. That's for you.
Got you a free one.
This is for you. And a lot of the comics that are coming through, they have an idea in their head. They're like, this is going to be funny, but they don't really know the structure or how to make it funny. They just have a funny idea, and then they present it on stage, and they don't understand why people aren't laughing. So if you try to tell them how to fix it, and they go, oh, that's a great note. I'll try that. They'll be able to go somewhere. But if you're like, nah, it's already funny, I'm going to leave it the way it is and still have no one laugh, then you're like, well, you're going to be stuck to just doing open mics for the next 15 years. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're starting to get your cast of, regular, this is our crew of comics for the comedy arena?
What? We've been teaching for quite a while now, and a lot of our students that have come through, you've seen them all over the DFW now. They're doing hosting, they're producing their own shows, and, they're homegrown from the comedy arena. And we do have a group of comics that we're like, hey, we need a host. Let's call this person. We need somebody to, put together a show. Let's call this person. They had a really good opportunity. Like, so we have students that have come up that we feel are very, very strong.
Yeah.
You probably know them and probably seen them in other clubs already, but they're not like, hey, just so I took classes at the comedy arena. They're not going to do that, because taking a class is kind of like, oh, don't tell them you took a class. Let them think that you're just naturally funny.
Yeah. Well, I don't even mean from the taking a class standpoint. I just mean, I feel like you have you're developing your own core of people who are, maybe they identify as like, this is my home club. This is my spot, right? Yeah.
We do.
But what's tricky, too, is when we're trying to book shows is to make sure that the lineup is a pretty diverse lineup. And that sometimes we kind of maybe have to go a little more out of the box. We just want to make sure that people are more represented, or more opportunities are still given.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a tough little tightrope y'all walk there. Running a business, but keeping the comedy pure, and getting new comics in, but not, you got to gatekeep a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think just, how do you make sure you're giving people opportunities, but how do you make sure your brand is taken care of? And not everybody understands that there's multiple brands that are trying to be protected in the same process.
Yeah. What's some stuff you've done as a club to, promote your ticket sales for yourselves? You know, like in terms of, you know, do you feel like social media is important, building the email list, all of the above? Like what have y'all found the most success with in McKinney at least?
I'm going to say, I'm going to hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's going to be word of mouth.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people. So what it is, like, they'll come see a show and they're like, we're going to come back. And then they come back and they bring their cousin or their nieces or their nephews. They're like, you got to come check out this comedy club. They're really, really cool. It's a lot of fun. And then they come back. And then those people are like, oh, my God, this was fun. This was great. Now I'm going to come back and see their magic show, and I'm going to bring my kids on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And it's slow.
Is that multi-marketing level comedy?
Well,
club?
it's yes.
So an LLM comedy
Yeah,
club
what
situation?
would your corporate speak for this be
So
from
it
your
starts-
previous careers?
Starts at a tip top. It's a
Tip
triangle.
top.
Yeah. it's a
And then
triangle.
you bring in two friends.
Yeah.
But
It all revolves around synergy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is, and to Jared's point, what he was saying earlier, it's like sometimes we are their first experience at a comedy club, and then they're like, oh, I like this. Let me tell more people about it. Mm-hmm. And it works the other way too. Like, oh, this was horrible. I'm going to tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
So we do all of the marketing things. Jared is a whiz. He's got his hands in everything marketing related to get our name out there into the world. But for us, like being club owners, just being there at the club and greeting guests and saying, hey, welcome to the club. You know, they're like, oh, wait, those are the owners. They're actually here. They actually care.
I feel like that's huge because, again, we'll keep them nameless, but, you know, before my career now, it's like I bartended. You know, those were fun jobs. I worked at there was a place in Plano called Eisenberg's that was a skate ramp place. It was like before they had all these free skate parks. And it's like, you know, these jobs were cool jobs. They were interesting jobs.
Yeah.
When you talk to other people, they're like, oh, you do that? And there's stories and stuff with it. And to me, you know, a comedy club is that. You know, if you're a server at a comedy club, if you're a door person at a comedy club, even if you feel like something is an entry-level position, it's like, yeah, but you're doing it in a cool environment where things...
Not a lot of people get to do it.
Yeah, not a lot of people get to do it, and this is way more interesting than, you know, like a call center, you know? And it bums me out when you go to places and they just look like they hate their job. You know what I mean? You hit the door and there's no, like, excitement that we're, you know, because we're excited to be here.
Yeah.
And they just look a little annoyed. You know, they're tearing tickets or checking IDs, whatever. And then you feel the same thing on the servers. And you just think it's like, well, who runs this place? Like, nobody's happy to be here.
Yeah.
Nobody's excited about this cool thing you get to be a part of, you know? And who knows the big names that could come out of these small moments where you're like, oh, yeah, I was working at that club when so-and-so was working on it. It's like you're in the fabric of comedy.
Yeah.
For who knows, you know, this could turn into huge historical moments when you were working here.
Exactly.
You know, and that's something about that should be exciting. And so you'll go to these clubs, and it's like I take note of clubs that have owners there the night of the show. You know what I mean? And I understand things come up and you can't be there for every show, but it's like if you have a big Friday, Saturday night show, it's like, yeah, I would expect an owner to pop in for a few minutes, at least, right? At least a few minutes. And you go to some of these places, and it's like, I have no idea who runs this. This is just a faceless entity, and it's kind of, it makes it feel. It's not that the corporate venues are bad, because there's venues that aren't corporate that feel that way, and it's just like, man, do you even love running this club anymore? Like, do you even get excited about this? Like, maybe it's time to let it go.
Yeah,
you know. And but you see it, and I feel that with I mean, the servers and stuff at your place, they all look like they like their jobs. You know, they're friendly, had a good time. Seems like they had a good process.
Yeah,
so I guess it's working for you.
Yeah, we like it.
How many days are you there? 7 days a week usually?
No,
you get a day off?
I'd say 5.
Yeah.
5. We try to not be there every day.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your mind.
I mean, I'd love to be there every day. I live a half a mile from the club, and Jared lives like 3 miles from the club, so we live pretty close.
Do you feel like you've become part of the community there on the square? Like, do you know the other business owners?
Oh yeah. I'm actually part of McKinney Main Street, which is a lot of business owners, and we talk about the festivals that are coming through and the finances of the city and any problems that the city might be having. So I'm on those boards. We're also part of the Chamber of Commerce. So yeah, everybody
partner with the McKinney Performing Arts Center as well. So when they do events, they reach out to us to kind of help and support them too.
So where do y'all see McKinney going over the next, decade? Like, what's going to happen around there for your business, for the city? Like, what are you getting excited about? What are you nervous about?
I mean, McKinney's about to do a giant, 20,000 seat amphitheater for concerts and stuff like that. They got an airport coming through. I think they want to be Dallas Fort Worth McKinney. I think it's kind of
it's growing. It's growing fast.
And be like the hub for all of those northern suburbs,
Again,
right?
it's big enough. They could be as large as Dallas or larger, and it wouldn't affect Dallas or McKinney. Like they would both be their own things, and it would be fine. Yeah. Wow, that's great for y'all. Maybe some of these stadium comics will pop in, run a little set in there.
Maybe.
Well, even the comics that come through to the casinos in Oklahoma are driving right through McKinney.
I forget y'all are that close to them. Yeah. How far is like WinStar or whatever from y'all? Is it
How
about an
fast
hour?
can we get there?
Yeah,
How far is it?
What's the rational drive?
I want to say an hour, maybe less than an hour.
I was gonna say 2-ish. Less than 2.
I think it's less. I think it's closer to an hour.
What keeps y'all from like reaching out to the casinos and being like, hey, when y'all have people coming through?
We have
See
actually.
if they, do they answer the calls? Do they respond?
We have reached out to them. A lot of those comics, they're represented by like it's an Outback tour, so their agents will say things like, "Oh, I don't even control that," sort of thing. So it's just more of the tour's already been set. Most of those guys are coming through. They're doing 1 or 2 days, and then they're on a flight
To the next tour.
already out. So we can't even try to.
I feel like you're going to
sneak them a
snag
little bit.
one eventually, though. You know?
What happens sometimes is we'll get comics that are coming be like in Austin, and they'll reach out and say, "Hey, I'm going to be in Austin for the weekend.
Can I
Do you have
come
like
up?"
a Thursday or Sunday for me to just come by?" But that also sometimes happens like the week last minute.
Yeah.
There's already something booked, and we're just not the type that are going to kick out our local comics just because we have a bigger name coming through. We've already made commitments to them.
No bumps, huh?
We're not doing it.
Yeah.
We're not doing it.
Catch us next time. Plan better.
You plan better, yeah.
Yeah, we should plan better for that.
I don't know if that makes
wait
me
for
excited or depressed that it really is word of mouth is still the best tool. Like part of me is like, man, that's so cool. It's like punk rock DIY, spreading the word.
So
but
I think a lot of it is also search. Because I think everything gets hidden in social media. It's just one big swipe or reels and videos. Everything's taken over. A lot of the reels that we put out there get traction weeks after the event's over.
Yeah.
But people are still searching like fun things to do this weekend or family in town, how to not lose my mind. So I think a lot of that is still more important that we're trying to put some more focus on.
well, with your marketing backgrounds especially, and then your club experience, what should a comic, an improviser, what should they be doing to promote their shows? What do you think is the best use of their time to start building awareness of their name as a performer, but also like you got a show booked at Comedy Arena, let's sell some tickets. What do you think's the best thing they could do if they could only choose a couple, 1 or 2 things?
Well, I think they need to start promoting at least minimum 2 weeks before their event takes place. At least start seeding that, and then as it gets closer to the event, then they can start doing it more frequency.
Just social media, though.
Yeah, I think that's what
That's all
what
they have
got,
access to.
right?
They're not spending.
They don't have
they're
an
not
email
spending money.
list. They're not. Yeah, I don't think they're buying ads. And the problem is, I've seen a lot of comics when they do start buying ads, they're not targeted in any
They're not
way.
anywhere.
They're all over the place, and sometimes
How should they target it?
Well, you can target radius of where you're going to be at.
Just the area.
Yeah. Or but at least like say in your ad what you're doing. What drives me kind of crazy sometimes is we'll spend lots of time and energy developing the creative assets for their show. It's what's on the website. It's what's going to be in the emails. It's all over our own media, right? And then they develop their own
Flyer.
creative. And it's got like, here's a picture of a comic in a square, and here's one wearing a seatbelt, and here's one from another club with another logo background.
And what's
in the
really
back.
bad about that is that there's no continuity. So even if somebody does see it and go, oh, that's fun, I want to go see that show, and then they come to our site, they'll see a totally different graphic, and I was like, wait, is this the same show?
Right.
Is it the same?
Or the link is not to their site. The link is like to maybe the homepage that now offers all 20 other options that are coming up versus their own specific page.
Right. Their
Which we
actual
know-
show
which-
ticket
Right,
link.
the actual show
Which
ticket.
Jared actually gives them. He's
So
like,
I'll send.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you send them an email with this stuff included.
Everybody
Every-
who's performing
yeah.
gets an email that says, "Look, here's your call time. Here's where you're meeting up.
This is where you
Here's
can park."
your links. Here, not just your link for the show, but your Facebook event."
Have you thought about getting just granular and specific? Like, please only share this image, only share this link,
They
or
don't-
does it just
they
get too
don't.
aggressive?
They don't
don't.
read the email.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
Like, that's
I
the
see.
thing.
So
I
we don't even make it to that point.
I'll write it out because I know somebody out there is going to read it, and I don't want to be accused of not providing anybody that information.
Yeah.
But when they check in, they clearly have not done any of that
read
stuff.
Well, and in talking about trying to get booked consistently, there's another way. It's like if you read the email and you did the things, you're probably more likely to get rebooked at this place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Follow-
like
sure.
we
Follow
saw that you at
instructions.
least if you post the same picture, we saw that you read the email at least.
follow
and
the
Yeah.
instructions.
And I do like it when during the show they'll start, doing the boomerangs and stuff. Like, look at who's killing it on stage, stuff like that. Or after the show, the weekend's
moments,
over, like
yeah.
had a blast at the Comedy Arena. Thank you so much. Like that stuff is awesome. I love that stuff. It's not expected either. I don't expect that. So when it happens, it's just kind of a nice surprise.
Bonus, yeah.
But it'd be nice to see more of that before the show versus after the show.
I've only maybe seen 2 or 3 people who really start a few weeks out promoting, and they'll get friends or the other performers involved in the reels, and they'll find these creative ways. And it's like, the rest of them really are just going, I threw a flyer up, I put it in my stories. What do you want me to do?
Sure.
And it's like, there's got to be something, like experiment, just get a little weird with it and have fun,
And it's not saying it like it's an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. It's a very
we're asking
hard
people to do
thing.
something that they've probably never done before.
Yeah, but you're wanting to go into show business here. It's not going to be easy. You got to get out of your comfort zone and try it.
But we've even had our, touring comics will do their own ads and their own videos. And, hey, here's a Google Drive of 12 different videos. Use whichever one you want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's also tricky now because you got certain sizes that will only fit in certain
formats.
So
sure, but I mean, on a local level, I just think, if there's 4 people on a show, and you really want the show to go well, the 4 of you can probably figure out 10 people each.
So you think that
you could? I mean, if you can find all these excuses, but really, it's like if you went old school, tried to flyer a few people, you do your online stuff, you DM people that have been wanting to come to your shows, you just do all the little steps. I bet you can snag 10 people. So if the comics are bringing 40, and then you guys as club owners are getting your crowd that you've been building, all of a sudden we're talking about like 60, 80 people maybe. Now this thing's packed out, and it seems so easy. And I know I'm coming from a music background where we did this, and it does work, but it's like, yeah, you're going to spend some time doing it, but what do you want? Do you want 30 people or 80 people, And I don't know if they're all just, I'm artist and I don't want to be a business type, so I don't want to do that.
Yeah, some of it is, we've seen it where you have comics that may not be that strong of a comic, but they've been doing it for 5 years, right? They've just been doing it for 5 years, and now they have this ego, like, well, I've been doing it for 5 years, so I shouldn't have to do this. And it's like, you've been doing it for 5 years, but you've been doing it 5 years mediocrely. Like you haven't really put in the work yet. You've been doing it for a long time, but you haven't really been hitting it hard. And now they walk into the room and they're like, well, I've been doing this for 5 years. These guys are new comics. I should be able to get 10 minutes, or I should be able to do. And it's like, how are you so entitled? How are you so entitled?
Vaughn and I will often work the box office, so we'll talk to the audiences as they're coming in. Hey, my go-to is usually like, hey, welcome back. I just assume they've been here before. If they say no, I'm like, okay, well, you look familiar, right?
Yeah,
but then we'll find out,
the friendly face.
We'll find out, do they know somebody on the roster, or they just come in, or are they here to support anybody particular, or what have you?
Or they just stumble in.
Yeah.
And then on the way out, finding out, hey, what'd you guys think? What'd you like then? But we're doing that work.
Right.
And we're also like, so if we are working the box office, or if I'm like bartending, I will call them by their name when I see them again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you bartend before this at some point?
No.
Oh, okay. That's an old bartender thing. It's like when I used to serve, it's like you got to know the regulars. You got to know this stuff. Know their name, know their drink, and it's like that keeps them coming back. People want their little slice of Cheers or whatever, where it's they're like, oh no, that's the comedy club. That's my spot.
Well, in our club, we're trying to remember where people prefer to sit now. So if we see certain people, they go, oh, table 5, we got you. Oh, you like the one in the back? Okay, great. We'll take care of that for you.
Have y'all been finding that your bar just gets bar traffic? That people are just coming to grab a couple drinks?
Sometimes late at night.
Yeah,
that will happen.
Later after the shows.
Yeah. And then I was curious with that area of McKinney, is getting enough foot traffic where, like, could a comic stand out there and bark and sell a couple last-minute tickets?
For sure.
Yeah. You got enough going on the streets
We've had some comics that will do that. Like an hour before their show, they'll just go down to the square and just start handing out flyers.
I think it's a more foreign concept here, especially in Dallas, because a lot of the areas where these clubs are, they're not walkable areas like y'all's spot in McKinney.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I do think it's like, man, if you just went down to the square a couple times before your show that's coming up a couple weeks from now, you might be surprised that somebody, like you said earlier, it's like I talked with them for a few minutes, we clicked a little bit, and they're going to come check it out next week.
Yeah.
And that area seems primed for that type of interaction.
That's the word of mouth I was telling you about.
I know. I just think we're in that digital age where people don't want to do it. When I was playing music, it was back when it was CDs, flyers, and you just walked out and met people and talked to them, and then all of a sudden you got 50 people to a show that way. And
I think society's changed a lot now, where people are like, I am totally comfortable just staying at home, and that's what we're fighting against. People who don't realize that live entertainment is a completely different.
So I just had this young filmmaker on here. He's like early 20s, and he was kind of schooling me on his generation of saying, like, we're wanting real stuff. We're wanting physical things. We're wanting real interactions. We're sick Like they're getting away from social media now, and I thought that was fascinating. And in his film, it was talking about kind of his experience of life going from like graduating high school to his early 20s, all that existential stuff everybody goes through. It's like, what does it mean?
What does life mean?
I mean, I'm 25. I have to do it now. That stuff.
But you're absolutely right. There was a study recently about all these kids that have been growing up on social media and just on their phone, and now they want to see things on bigger screens or live entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It's a younger group who can't buy alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's fine. They're welcome at our club, but at the expense of not buying drinks.
Well, you got food. You got,
Totally.
You got
Absolutely.
non-alcoholic
We
drinks.
got 9 desserts, baby.
Yeah, come on. Food's delicious, man. I love the flatbread.
Oh, thanks.
Delicious. Yeah.
We'll let our chef Mel know.
Okay. Oh, actually, the other expenses you don't think about. You got to get a chef, right? Yeah. Jeez. Well, listen, I've taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate it.
Those are all the questions? There weren't more from people wanting to get the background on? That's fine. That's great.
The background on what?
I don't know. I was expecting a...
I will say this: the DMs and stuff I was getting, which always come from people that I don't necessarily know.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the more aggressive, like, why do they do this? Why do they do that? And it's like, I'm not going to ask that question. If you're not bold enough to ask that to their face, I'm not going to say that.
Okay, fair enough.
Respect it.
No, it'll just be like, most of it is like, why won't they book me? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know your story. I don't know who you are.
Yeah,
There's so much
who are you?
nuance to everything. I'm not going to do that.
I can also see that being just a bit,
Yeah.
It's just lots of bits. I can't tell what's real. Oh, here's another thing. If you have a name that is I don't know who at the end of the day I'm going to make the check out to, I don't know if I'm going to hire you. These stage names are sometimes really difficult to take seriously.
Why do you have a stage name? Who are you hiding from?
Yeah. My favorites. I mean, there's always like the... I don't even want to call it out because I know there's people. But yeah, they'll have a tag like, I'm so-and-so, the such and such. And it's like, what are we doing here?
Are you?
What? Come on. Come on. Like, are you just trying to manifest something here? What are we doing?
Well, maybe we should just do a show with all stage names just so it's confusing for everybody involved.
Yeah, that'll sell tickets.
Yeah. It's just called Stage Names.
Stage names. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of what the like the sauciest DM that I would actually want to say. But
It's okay if you don't have it. I just was prepared to...
what do you want to talk about? I've got nothing but time.
Well,
Y'all are the ones I'm worried about. Y'all drove down here.
did. I think that's why I'm all for like what else is there, because we drove all the way down here. I'm like,
I didn't do any driving. I was passenger princess.
Well, what do you feel?
true.
What do you want people to know? Like, what do you feel like? If they just knew this about us.
well, that's a good question, Travis. I asked for it. He provides it, and now I'm stuck with...
I mean, the stuff that I am always interested in is I think it's shocking that well-established clubs aren't reinvesting in themselves. I think people hide behind this like, oh, we're never going to do an upgrade or anything because it's the nostalgia. And it's like, you don't have that. This just looks like it needs a coat of paint. So it's like, you're maybe one of 2 venues here locally where I'm hearing you talk about these renovations and these upgrades. And so I'm always fascinated by just the things I'm not even aware of what it takes to run these businesses. Because it's easy for me to like, armchair expert this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you know what this fucking club should do? That kind of,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Why don't they just do this?
it's funny you mention that, because like there are certain things that we're trying to make the audience experience better, which I think a lot of comics would not have visibility into. So, for example, if you have a system where you're selling your food and drinks on one system, but your tickets on a completely different system, right? Like Ticketmaster's not serving food and drinks. That's not how that works, right? Well, then if someone has a gift card, they can't make it work on both systems, right?
yeah.
So we've been trying to think about how can we redo our entire tech so that something is going to be a better
Seamless.
experience for everybody. And we're in the process of doing that right now. That will go live at the end of this month. And with that, we're trying to also introduce a membership program where customers can basically pay, like a Netflix, pay one flat fee a month, and it gets you all the
Gets you all the
shows that
shows
you
you
want.
want.
Really interesting.
So, which is a model that works for streaming. I have no idea if it's going to work for...
Well, the movie theaters are trying to do it. They have success.
but they
with
limit
that.
it. They limit it to like, what, 3 or 5, and you can only go during like dark
Off
nights, right?
nights.
We're going to say, forget that. There's no rules. If you want to come see comedy...
Well, I mean, there's rules.
No, if you want to come see a comedy show, we're not saying you can't.
You're saying
come.
there's not a limit on the shows you could watch.
There's no limit on shows you
Correct.
can watch. There's no dark nights or anything like that.
Well, so kind of going back to talking about like papering rooms, I do wonder why people who are wanting to sell more tickets aren't like, I don't want to have the fans that don't love comedy But it is like if you have this subscription model and you can see whatever you want, all of a sudden you are in a way getting a free ticket. At some point, you've gone to so many shows that the club's negative on the ticket sales, right? But you do have the 2-item minimum. When you have tickets not being sold, but you're selling drinks, food, does it make up the difference? You know, like would you rather have, 40 tickets sold with 2-item minimums, or is it still beneficial to have, 80 free tickets, but they all had 2 items?
So, but not only that, so it's not for us, not just the food and drink, right? Because now this audience member is like, oh, wait, they have classes here? Oh, my nephew would really love to go take a class. Or, whoa, this place is for rent. I can have my wedding here. Like we've had 2 weddings at our venue. So, oh, they do corporate training? Oh, we have a corporate retreat happening next month, and we really would love these guys to come out and do it. So it may not be the ticket, but now it's we didn't know that they did all these other things, which are higher ticket items than just a $15, $10 ticket.
So our venue, like you mentioned, there's 10 clubs roughly in, right? So we seat 60 guests. The next club in the Metroplex probably can seat 3 times that amount at least, right? So we're not in the same world as far as like we can't just rely on just the 2 items. We need the tickets as well.
Yeah.
But all that stuff kind of goes together where we're not just, that's why paper in the room doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, because I think about if you have slow nights, right? Can you get wildly creative and go like, we're going to do pick a demographic, like we're going to do school teachers night or something.
Sure.
If you're a school teacher, it's free, that kind of stuff.
And we do that during the summer. We let the teachers come for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So if you started just going out to all these, like we're going to do firefighters or first responders, well, does it is like the juice worth the squeeze on that? Or does it end up being just kind of a headache? And it's like, how much do you see return on that? Where like, are they coming to take classes? Are they doing the events? Or does it end up being, because in my mind, I think like it's so easy. Just start talking to everybody in the area of McKinney. What do? You work at this sub shop? Hey, let's get your workers some free tickets, And again, on paper, it sounds like, why aren't you doing this? This would be perfect. But, have you tried those things? And then there's things I don't know where it's like,
what's happened
this would be the roadblock.
Yeah, the roadblock is when you give something away potentially for free, people say, yes, I'm going to do it. And then they don't necessarily show up.
Yeah.
And now you're planning for my group of 20 is going to sit in these front row and I'm reserving them, waiting for them to show up. And they haven't shown up. And now I've got an empty room with nothing to do.
Because they have nothing committed to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the old free thing. Like if it's free, I don't have to really care about it as much, right? Yeah, that's a good point.
But I do think there's something there about, stand up for firefighters or stand up for law enforcement or, I think you've seen probably like a lot of comedy shows that are the white collar comedy or they have teacher comedy, like these subsets. Pockets. I think that's really starting to blow up. And I think even some of the other clubs are starting to do like, hey, this is a lineup filled with this specific type of comic that's going to be on the stage. Yeah. And that's something new and different that I think is kind of appealing. And I think we're probably going to see a lot more of those shows versus the traditional post-feature headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you find yourself just walking around a new business or like just, this Tuesday I'm going to drive to these new businesses and just talk to these people like like an apartment complex office with those workers and just be like, we got this club. If y'all ever want to drop in, hit us up and we'll comp you some tickets or something. Like just to slowly, like if it is word of mouth, do you think about like, I'm going to spend 3 hours this day just touching different businesses?
Well, I mean, Vaughn's go-to is everywhere he goes, he'll say, hey, did you know McKinney has a comedy club? He's always wearing some sort of comedy arena. But it's funny because it's almost a double-edged sword, wearing your shirt and going out in public. I remember I was at Target a couple weeks ago and I was at the checkout and my son ran off to the Starbucks and was trying to order a cake pop. And I heard him ordering a cake pop and I'm yelling, no cake pop. I'm yelling this in Target across because I can't leave the...
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm wearing my comedy arena. People are probably looking at me right now. They're not going to see me discipline my son.
But also, I mean, you could just be a fan who bought a comedy arena t-shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no.
You're
in my mind, only owners wear their own attire.
We sell these.
That's a good point.
I've thought about that. I was like, man, I could get like a wrap for my car to like promote the podcast. And I'm like, but that'll be the day where I like road rage or something.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. you turn lanes without signaling, and all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I mean, were y'all nervous at all making the switch from performers to owners and how like people would view like you're owners now, or I mean, crossing that boundary of
no, because we've always been owners. Like our improv troupe before we ran it, so we were in charge of it. So we still owned it. It's just now we owned it with a building.
It's so simple.
And way more expenses.
That was just like that.
Yeah.
We wanted it, we did it.
You can do it too.
Magic.
I mean, was it? How did y'all approach the building? Like, did you go with like you had some savings from your previous careers or something that you were able to do all this? You take out loans. Like, what was your approach with it? Because that's a daunting task of all the multiple six figures it probably takes to build out these places and run it, right?
Yeah, we basically took money out of our own pockets and then did it.
Yeah.
So we took out no loans. We had no debt. And we were like,
So corporate America was good for some.
Sure.
Yeah.
Were you like were you like cashing out 401ks, going that route, or
Didn't go that far.
You just had some savings on you, huh?
and plus
Hard work works sometimes.
And plus,
huh?
we started small. I mean,
Yeah.
we started really small. We had 40 seats, 40 chairs, and 1,500 square feet. You know,
Yeah.
So-
Well, when you go to the second floor renovation, though, when you're ready to expand, do you just dip back into your own savings, or is the club being able
We
to
did.
afford that now?
No,
club-
we did.
We did, and the club was able to afford some of it, and also because you were expanding, the landlord covered some of it too. Mm-hmm. So there was money coming from 3 different places to make that happen.
All I think about is like when we bought our home. You know, like I've owned 2 homes, and it's like, you know, it all feels good. And then when you go to sign the papers and you see the dollar amount written,
Yeah.
it's like, don't you just get like some heart palpitations or something? Or
Well, I mean, we got, I don't want to say lucky, but we were in positions that we didn't have to take out any loans. We didn't have to borrow money from anybody. We were able to
but even just
do it
spending the
ourselves.
money, you know, wondering like, are we making a mistake expanding? Should we just make this space work for now? You know, COVID hit, we're doing it online. No fear, huh?
You got to grow. I mean, you got to grow. Like a lobster gets out of its shell and it's all soft and mushy for a while before it can get strong again. So if you're afraid to grow,
That's how lobsters work.
yeah, okay. They do. If you're afraid to grow, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
Right. If you're always afraid, oh wow, we shouldn't do this because it might not work. Well, what if it does? I mean, you won't know unless you try. So I mean, and Jared is like, he's like the dreamer. Like he's like, we should do like all of this, and I'm like, well, maybe we should do like some of it.
Yeah.
And then usually we meet in the middle. And it's like we kind of balance each other out, where we kind of like, okay, well, we don't want to take too much of a risk, but we don't want to play it too safe, because if you play it too safe, we'll never grow. Like if we always played it safe, we'd still be in 1,500 square foot, just trying to figure out how to make it work. And then we eventually would just disappear.
That's what I worry some of the places here in Dallas proper are not doing. You know, they just think like, we got it. This is it. And it's like,
Yeah.
it just feels stagnant, stale, you know.
Remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
They had it. They were it. We don't need to change.
Yeah.
Where are they now? They're gone.
Yeah, you know, they passed on Netflix, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Multiple times.
Because they didn't want to change. They didn't want to grow. They didn't want to pivot.
Yeah. Well, how do you, in your experience, like when do you feel like it's time to make a change?
When things aren't working.
Or when you get complacent, or you just are looking for a new challenge.
Yeah. It's like, oh,
We're kind of always in a what's next kind of phase, right? Like,
Do you
there's
get
always-
worried, though, if you go what's next too much, that you're not focusing on what you have right now?
Well, usually what we have right now, we try to make sure that all the systems are in place and there it's humming. Mm-hmm. It's humming before we move on to the next thing, you know. Because if it's not working and we're like, let's go, what's next? Well, guess what? It's still not going to be working when we leave. And if we just keep jumping to the next thing and the thing that we started isn't working, so we try to make sure that the thing that we are currently doing is buttoned down and it's doing its own thing and it's able to sustain before we try to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Knowing y'all have such a deep improv background, what are some of those famous areas where people go for improv?
Chicago?
Yeah. But what are those, the Groundlings?
Groundlings in LA, you got Second City, you got UCB.
Is IO still a thing? Are they still around?
IO still a thing, yeah.
What do you think it takes to have something with that type of pedigree and respect in North Texas? Like, what do you think it would take for Comedy Arena to be a hub of improv like that, where people are like, you got to go to Texas and you got to be at this area? You know, why is it just them?
All those places, though, have really done a great job of promoting who came out of their schools and are now big names and stuff like that, right? So, you know, we've got a guy right now who's on Big Brother who's a student of ours in one of our classes. Now, can we take credit for that?
Probably not.
Not really. But, you know, still, there's little things like, that's still kind of cool that we've been in contact with those kind of people before.
Yeah. Well, what do you think that they're offering that you would aspire to offer, other than reputation?
Well,
that's
I think
it.
Do you think that's the only thing that really separates it?
Well, I mean, if you've been doing something for X amount of years and then the people that come out of that thing have excelled,
Yeah.
you get to say, hey, look, so-and-so who we taught to do this thing is now in movies and now is doing this and now is doing that. Now everyone else, the world goes, oh my goodness, that person came from there, so that place must be the place that I need to go so I can also aspire to be that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really work that way because those people have talent. They have the thing, they have the opportunity. So, until we have the next whatever come through, I mean, we're 10 years old.
I'll be honest with you, Travis. I don't know if that's what we're going for.
Well, maybe not you're going for, but the stand-ups, there's like, oh, you got to go here, you got to go there, and I've always wondered, well, why not here, right? Why not develop your act here and become? I know there's roadblocks, but it can be done, right?
Yeah, and I don't even know where those comics get that philosophy from, because we're not in some giant comedy club meeting going, all right, who's number one this week or anything like that.
But I just wonder, like, there is more improv here happening than I ever realized.
Sure.
And multiple places that have schools and multiple people doing this.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder why, or not why it's not. I understand why it's not, but, I do think, like, what would it take for people to go, North Texas is an improv town. Like, that's an area you can go cut your teeth and, kind of put it on the map a little bit.
I don't know if this is controversial or not, but a lot of comics will go perform in many different stand-up comics will perform in many different venues. And I think a lot of improvisers feel comfortable at wherever they learned the first go around, so they kind of stay there. And there's not as much cross training in different places, which could impact that a little bit.
So that being said, have you thought about having like bridge programs to some of the other clubs here that provide improv courses as well?
We do. We'll say, look, if you take on a level 1 at some class, we'll welcome you into our level 2. Absolutely.
But I mean, even getting more, like making a direct with that club of like promoting it, like we're teaming up to do this. We're doing a show swap or something. I don't know.
We've done that. We've done shows at Stomping Ground. We've even done shows at DCC as well as Dallas Comedy House. We've done shows almost every venue in. We've done shows at
Jared and I, as we were driving down here, we were like, we probably personally have performed in almost every of the clubs here in DFW. Like, I can't think of a club that we haven't. Well, maybe Mic Drop because they've just changed names, but as club owners, I don't think very many club owners in this area could say that they've performed on those stages. Yeah.
Well, now that you're performing on those stages, I mean, are you viewing those clubs are you constantly making comparisons to your club, their club, and how you like, oh, we should take this, we should do this? No?
No. I mean, have you ever played sports?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to an away teams and be like, oh, we should definitely have our dugout like this and we should change our lockers to be like this? You're like, no, I'm there for the game. I'm there.
It's actually, we've done more like, hey, do you need us to do an extra 10 minutes? Because I see that the staff hasn't dropped tickets yet. Do you need us to like go longer? Like we're looking out for their backs to make sure that.
Because we know what it's like to be on the other end.
Yeah, but like with the sports analogy, it's like if I played basketball and we were really small town school. So I don't know what the system is now, but it was going by like A's, like your 1A, 2A, 3A, 4. So we were a 2A school that was about to switch up to a 3A school, and we would go play these summer leagues against the super 5A schools. Yeah. And we would just get destroyed every summer. And that was the whole idea, is we're going to get just so beat down by them that when we come back to our little farm town,
you'll be good.
We'll be good. And then the extra little lessons of like, yeah, I've been dunked on so many times that if you're dunking in your warm-up, that doesn't really affect me. It's like I've had so many people just run me over now, it doesn't even embarrass me anymore. And so it's like we would take that kind of stuff away of like, oh, we saw how they run this type of play, that type of, you would take that kind of stuff from it.
So kind of like what I mentioned,
like your processes,
So I've been in a lot of comedy clubs before we opened ours. So I kind of did that before we even opened.
Yeah.
Because I spent years in other comedy clubs and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And so it's kind of hard to say going back now.
Yeah. Well, but you got a whole new perspective on it. Just, I mean, you cross that threshold to the owner, right? Yeah. I mean, doesn't that change the lens a little bit?
Not when I was building it, because when I was building it, I was still looking at it through the lens of a comic. Like, if I was a comic, what would I want? What would I like? How would this impact me? And we kind of build it around that. I mean, granted, it's changed a little bit now because now we have costs, and well, I can't afford to give you a green room with an 80-inch screen TV, but I can probably do a 50-inch screen TV because not only can we use it for this, we can use it for that. We can put it for classes. Like now, I'm looking at everything we have, how many other functions can it do? If it can serve us for more than just one thing, we're gonna try to do it.
Yeah. Well, with all your experience, working at these different clubs, performing, what do you think are the biggest mistakes clubs make?
The biggest mistakes?
Yeah. If you could snap your fingers and go, these are things that could change that would make it better.
I don't know if I could say it, but I'm gonna say it. And
We don't say the name, obviously.
No, there's no name. I would say if club owners can keep drugs out of their club and keep substance abuse out of their club and keep predators out of their club, they would be much better off.
No, but isn't drugs just part of it, man? Isn't that what makes you funny and creative?
No.
No, that's the same fallacy with musicians, right? It's like you're only creative because of this stuff, and you're only wild and fun and interesting. Yeah.
So if you can get rid of that, they'd be winning.
Did you watch the Pete Holmes series?
Crashing?
Yeah. Did you get to watch that at all? There's this great scene where they're going out on the road with a grizzled. Have you watched it?
I think the first season.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember where it's at. But they're going on the road with like this grizzled comic. They're in New York and they're hitting the road. And he's like, we're going to show you how it's done. We get wild. We have this party. We do this stuff. And then the venue they're going to is more of a corporate-owned style setup. So like the green room's like all very nice, but it's like the manager's very professional. Has like a little headset and stuff. And he's sitting here trying to like flirt with the waitress, and it's like, hey, we don't do that here. And like they like shut it all down, and he's just getting embarrassed constantly because he's trying to show these rookies like it's wild out here, and it's the most button-up, tame thing, And that's what I think about. I do think there's been a massive shift, right? There's like this old generation of like how it was done, and like what's driving me crazy right now is I feel like we have a ton of comics who are established veterans that are very funny, and we have a lot of mid-range comics that are like they are funny.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of them are clinging to these old ideas of how success is going to go.
Yeah.
And nothing makes me more sad right now more than seeing someone who's been in the game around here for like 10, 15, 20 years, and I've heard your set for a decade, because that's like that old way. And it's like you're so engaging, like the tidbits I've heard about your life and your story. Why are you not? I know you have more depth to you than this saying. I can recite your set now.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and they're looking at these younger comics of like because now you can just film something and put it out. Like you can create your special and release it, and you can argue about whether or not that's good, bad, whatever. But the access is there.
It can be done.
Yeah. So it's like you're this veteran person. Like you have all the tools. But you're not working on like a new set to like you don't have a plan.
It's easier to complain than execute.
Yeah, and it's like there's got to be at least 10 people I'm thinking of right now where you could. It's like, hey, if you buckled down and you got some of that newcomer hunger, you could over the next year and a half, 2 years, you could write a killer hour. You could release it yourself, and then you could get out on the road and do the things you want to do.
Yep.
But it's so much easier to just be like, well, I guess I'm a little too like long in the tooth or something. It's like I don't think that's what this is.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me crazy about our scene right now is I feel like people haven't accepted that like it's there for the taking if you want it, and they're just I don't know. Maybe you say it's lazy, scared. I don't know what it is, but.
Well, there's a lot more work now. Now you got to edit stuff. You got to get it out there. It's not just put it on YouTube or whatever your channel is, but then promote it and make sure people are aware that it's.
But that's all opportunity. It's like imagine if you went back to the whenever days, and it's like you have these opportunities for exposure now. Like you could potentially reach the whole world if you get lucky. Whereas beforehand, you wouldn't have had that opportunity. It's like your whole career is really being dictated by a set of gatekeepers. And those roadblocks are being removed now, right? It's like, even if you absolutely didn't want to work with somebody, right? They could still find a route to blow up around you now, and it doesn't matter, And
I mean, even the most recent members of SNL now are like YouTube, TikTok stars. I mean, we're heading down a path of that's where talent is starting to really get their name and voice out there.
How many followers do you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying that's not. We're not looking at that, but there are definitely other people who are.
Yeah, well, I mean, surely you see that, right? Like you're getting a wide variety of experience levels on your stage as well, that's the advice I wish I could give. Where I'm not engaged enough with this scene yet to even, be able to respectfully offer any advice. But I can say it on here because it's my show. But, but it's like, hey, what are you waiting on? It's like, you have the talent, you have the skill. Record all that if you want to, get it out of the way, and then let it die.
Then
and
move on.
Yeah, like, I think that's really what holds this area back a lot, is people not understanding that they can do that. That, like, I'm going to work on this set. I can use this for 4 or 5 years while I try to get to this next level. And it's like, I think why are you going to live and die on that set? You're creative enough to write another one, right? But I don't know. Again, as an outsider, I don't know if that's just me being a snobby fan, being like, just write some new stuff, man.
No, I mean, it's writing is it. You should be writing every day. If you're doing stand-up, if that's your thing, you should be writing or thinking about writing every day. And if you're not, if you're like, well, I got this tight 10 minutes, I'm just going to do it for the next 5 years, and you're not adding to it or deleting it or, giving new ideas or new concepts or growing off of it, you're just going to be stagnant. And then, like you said, 10 years from now, you're going to be seeing them do the exact same jokes, and you're like, why are they not Why are they not growing? Because it's easier to do nothing than it is to do something.
Yeah. Well, we're recording a comedy special at the end of this year for Michael Pasvar. That's going to be like I think he's going to attempt an hour, I guess. I think that's what his set is. I've just been leaving him alone. I was like, but literally, for the last, I don't know, probably about a full year now, he's been hitting the road to other places to work on that. He retired some old stuff last year. This is a whole segment he's working on. He's like, I don't even want to perform it locally. I want to dial it in so that when I come back and record it, it's fresh for all these people. And he's like, and I have this other stuff I'm working on so that when we release it, I can be back out on the road working on this next stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the hustle I want to see more of them doing here.
Well, that's just it, right? So if you make a special and you record your hour, the only hour you have, and now it's out there, now you can't do it again.
Yeah.
So now they're like, now I got to start over.
Yeah.
But
also
start
you're
over.
so at the beginning, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, start over.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're only going to get better.
Yeah. And
also, I don't even know if that's true. Like, if you watch, you want Billy Joel to still do Piano Man,
But
right?
that's music, though.
Well, I think,
but there's plenty of audience, I think, that still want to hear that do the joke about. I mean, even Brian Regan now has a whole encore where people yell out his "do this joke," and that's how he ends.
Yeah,
his shows.
but what if Brian Regan started the whole show doing those same jokes? They'd be like,
I look at it more like trailers,
I think at their level, though, they'll know if a crowd knows who they are, and they can weave in old if they need to get them.
Yeah.
What I want to try to do in 2026, we're going to do Michael's thing at the end of the year. That's a bigger project, and but I think in 2026, like if I'm just going to not bitch about it the whole time and like let's find a solution, right? I'm hoping I can find maybe 6 comics, put on a show, film them all in one run with the intention of like, let's see if you've got 8 to 15 minutes that you're ready to retire, or maybe that 8 to 15 is themed a certain way where if you are working on a longer set, it just doesn't fit into it.
Yeah.
That you can go, okay, here's a promotional tool for you. It's a promotional tool for me and my show, but also maybe it'll like light that fire of, okay, you recorded it. Do you want to keep telling that same thing, or do you want to write something else?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the way. Is like if you have these opportunities to release material in certain ways, it'll light that fire of like, well, I gotta write something.
Yeah, I gotta put something
Well, if you're looking for a venue, let me know, okay?
Yeah, I'm always looking for a venue. Have you had people film anything there yet?
Oh yeah,
a few.
all the time.
From your side, what do you what are like your do's and don'ts? Like if I come in there and I want to film something, what are you expecting of me?
We probably should have more of a list of do's and don'ts. We just kind of let their tech go plug into the booth and
if they're in a place that they shouldn't be, we just ask them to move. It's like, well, you can't stand here because servers are walking through here. Like, okay, well, you can stand over there. So
yeah, because
I think the only thing that we probably need to think through a little bit further on is sometimes the audience doesn't know that show's being filmed, so they're probably a little bit like, we don't want another Coldplay incident, right? But other than that, I mean the concert.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
I know what you mean. Well, because the one we're doing with Michael, the one I did with Lawrence was at a club, right? And it was a frustrating experience, filming there. And I don't want to get into too much because I don't want to say anything that would like impact Lawrence. He still has a good relationship with them. But from us just trying to get something accomplished, it's like we thought we were all on the same page with things. And then when we show up the day of to get stuff done, it's just catastrophic, a lack of organization, a lack of awareness of what we're here to do.
Did you have a meeting with the club owner before?
Never the owner, the managers.
The managers.
Yeah, multiple times.
So did the manager, after it was all said and agreed, he was like, whoa, this is not what I thought it was? Or what was the... Because sometimes expectations, if they're different...
We had clear expectations, and...
Did he have clear expectations?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were just not met the day of.
Your expectations were met?
Yes.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you off mic.
Okay.
Because it's, I don't want to trash. It's one of those things where... Who knows how it really happened? I have my perspective. I'm sure if they ever, but we also never got reasons of what went down. I'll tell you later. But
Okay.
And so ultimately, what happened is we were just kind of doing this rush job with setup. That was crazy. Whereas, like, in a perfect world, it's like we'd be able to come up there in the morning, set everything.
Set up.
Well,
Mic check.
I have a question then. So, like, the lighting and everything you have in venues, all of that is great for a venue, but a lot of times it's difficult for filming.
Of course,
Sure.
Yeah. So as club owners, if I was like, hey, we'd love to shoot it here, but we want to put a curtain, we want to cover up this backdrop, we want to adjust these things, would you take that as a slight of like, well, hey, part of filming this is our club name's going to be in the background, and if you're not going to do that, we don't really want to participate in this. Would you take that? Would you take offense to that, or would you think, no, we're filming it?
Are you paying for the space?
Yeah, potentially. Is that?
Okay.
I mean, that to me is kind of what I'm curious.
So it's like if we're not being compensated for it, if we're like, hey, you're renting the space, this is your space to do what you need to do your project, that's one thing, and we're going to charge you for X. But if you're like, well, we just want to film this little thing here, and we just want to set up a camera here and there, but we're not really going to pay you, it's like, yeah, we probably want our logo in the background,
Gotcha.
so we can say, well, this was shot here at our club. So it kind of depends.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like, well, we have like 5 cameras that we need to set up. We're like, okay, well, let's figure out where those 5 cameras are going to go before we start getting people in here, where I can say, well, that's too close to this. You don't know this, but the servers actually walk through here.
Yeah.
I would have that meeting before getting all the logistics. I'd even probably have you set up before we even had people come in.
Yeah.
Like
that's
hours before.
So for Pasvars, we're going to a non-club. We found this small theater in Frisco that we're going to use called the Knack.
We know the Knack.
Yeah. And, who knows? We might learn some lessons there. I don't know. But what we do like about it so far is it's just this blank slate, and it's very much like, hey, we're gonna do it for this price, and it's yours, like you said.
Exactly, yeah.
And we like that, but it does come with its own faults. It's like there is a magic to doing it at a local club where you feel like you're supporting part of it.
Yeah.
It's like even if we dressed it up, it's like it would still be in the credits or something
Same place,
somewhere.
yeah.
Or we would still advertise like, oh, at the the McKinney Comedy Arena. That I do like the idea of supporting that.
Yeah.
So as much as I like that we're doing this theater, it still would have been fun to find a club, but I think I was a little
Put off
on that, and I wanted to see like what is a different experience going to be like,
Yeah,
and then we can
that's fair.
compare those
That's
two.
fair.
And then Michael lives further north. He's up in I can't remember the city, but anyway, so he's also thinking like, okay, the friends and family that I know that have been saying,
Proximity.
when's your next show? When's your next show?
Yeah.
This area is going to be great for that.
Perfect.
So it's kind of just this good blend,
Yeah.
and but yeah, there's going to be something we don't figure out. But have y'all ever thought about making the investment of just having your own camera setup and offering that for people, or does that just feel too daunting?
No, we've been
No,
talking
we've
about that
had-
forever. The hardest part, honestly, is someone to man it. Because you almost need like a dedicated person that knows what to do, that if something goes wrong, they know how to fix it.
Yeah.
And we're not...
Like even if we hired a sound tech person, they wouldn't be available for every single show, every single week. So we need a team. So
What about even just special shows? Like you guys know some of your comics that are, like feel like more of your home comics, right? And have you ever thought about approaching them? Like, you're at a point where you could maybe do something, and we could do that here and produce it as a comedy arena production.
We've thought about it. It's on the list.
Yeah.
I think we're closer to it than we have been in the past.
Yeah.
It's just been how produced do you go now? Because now you can do things where it's just we need the 20-second clip is all that we need versus the whole hour and a half long show.
Edit it down, and do we want multiple camera shots? Because you just don't want that one straight on, because that gets boring after a while.
That's terrible. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, I
And
think
then you want some people that want to do 2 nights so they can have multiple options, and it's like, okay, now it's...
What do
Yeah.
you think about your favorite comedy specials that you've watched and what you liked about them? Because what I'm really aiming for with I want to produce more of these myself, and I want it to be tailored towards that comic. And I read an article before I ever started doing this where someone was talking about how just comedy specials are kind of lame if you think about it from like a cinematic standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them, it's this fake, phony, like, look at this big space I'm in. We come out, oh, rah, 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 I'm so popular, and crazy lights and camera angles that don't even make sense. Like we're swooping in on a crane or something. And it's like, what are we doing? This is not how you watch comedy, you know? And for some comics, I mean, that's fine. But I do think there's this, like, I really wish I could name drop. I'll name drop afterwards. But,
Michelle Wolf did a comedy special where it was done at multiple clubs.
Yes.
And I think that's really interesting.
Didn't she release that as like a 3-part thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Kind of tailoring it towards that person. And I think that's kind of the key. Like, what I've liked so far is angles that are more true to how an audience watches a show. You know, like you've never been sitting in a chair thinking like, I hate the fact that I'm looking up at them. But a lot of these things are shot, you know, up above because they want that grand experience. But I feel like you miss the nuance of the performer. You know, all those little glances, things that you get lost.
I think Aziz Ansari's got a special where he shows like the camera's literally, hey, just so you guys know, it's right here.
That one might have been too much. That was black and white, right? I think he's wearing like a Metallica shirt, and you see people like walking around in the background. It's like, okay, that might be a little too
distracting.
A little too much. But
where was the one where Kevin Hart was like in his living room or in a
that was like a COVID one, right?
Yeah. It's like that seems
a little weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? This isn't your house. Is this your house?
But, you know, now you've got Don't Tell Comedy where the venue is all sorts of places.
So I think Don't Tell and I think 800-Pound Gorilla are doing a fantastic job of either they've carved their own image that they're fitting the comics in with or they tailor it. But have you all heard of a guy named Gavin Matz from New York? He's not a big name yet, but he's in with like All Things Comedy and Bill Burr and those guys. But he shot one. I'll send you a link. He shot one that I thought was okay. This is comedy. Like this is a pure form of how you would watch it.
Yeah,
it was beautifully shot, but it was like a simple black box style, not a bunch of crazy lighting. And then he has this very slow, quiet pacing that gets very strange and awkward at times. So you had all these kind of tight angles on him, and you felt that uncomfortableness that you feel in a show. Like if we were like, what is this guy going to do? Like, are we safe here? You know, he's not loud or anything, but he feels a little crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of them are missing. So
yeah, because you got like John Mulaney who did Baby J, directed by Alex Timbers, and the lighting in that is constantly changing. Like now he's on this part of his set, we're going to change the lighting and stuff. It's like a theatrical experience.
I don't know if it's going to shoot me in the foot, but one of the things I'm really striving for is, you know, I'm not going to film with a crowd camera for those easy cuts when your stuff doesn't land.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of want to put that pressure on Michael of like, you know, if you cut it out, it might be a rough edit, and you're going to have to live with that, you know, so that you don't have that fallback, that safety net. Because have you heard of Esther Pavitsky? She's like out in L.A. and, you know, it's no secret, like they'll film like 3 or 4 shows and then they'll edit the best,
sure,
right? And it's like, okay, fine. A lot of my favorites do that. I get it. It's kind of like an industry standard. She filmed like 4 different shows, but it was like, I'm changing clothes for each one.
Yeah, so you know.
Yeah, and it's like, so she had these edits, I guess, but she weaved in this story with her parents in between. So it's like when that joke was done, we went to the story, we cut back in. It's clearly on a different night, different outfit, different crowd. And it wasn't as, like, it was honest at least.
Yeah, it wasn't deceptive.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I feel like there's all these unique ways, but I could definitely see y'all doing that down the line of just offering it as like, you know, we produce our own ones if you want to do it with us. We got the space, we got the equipment, and we'll put our promotion behind it as well. And, you know.
We were in talks for a bit.
Yeah, we were actually talking to a company about doing it, and they had this whole mapped out with cameras from the ceiling in different angles, and it was going to be streamed, and it was super complicated. And I was like, who's going to turn it on? I just need to know.
But you know, the problem with those agencies, like even when I reach out to, because I'm not running the cameras for this, I'm hiring someone to do it, and it's like, they give you this, I think they all see the same TikTok sales pitch of like, do you want to get your customer base and this much money? Do you want to make $8,000 a week?
Yeah.
And so they'll ask these real nebulous, like, you know, so what's your budget? What are your goals? And we're like a multi-tiered system. We can cover all these things. And I'm like, I want you to have this many cameras with this many people, and I want it shot this way.
Yeah.
I just need you to hit record and track, and then give me that raw footage. And that's all we're going to do. Like, yeah, but we offer so much more than this, and blah blah blah. And it's like,
That's great, but that's not what I want.
and because they want you to come at them with like, I have a $10,000 budget.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have that.
Right.
You know, I'm realistic with what good work costs. I'm not looking for a buddy price. I don't need that stuff. You know. And it's frustrating to deal with them because you're like, this is a much simpler project than you're trying to make this. And I feel like you're not appreciating like this is a entry level operation we're running. And so we need that kind of pricing. And then when someone huge comes in, you can quote them all that nonsense,
exactly.
you know?
I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So it's called a special.
Yeah.
But if it's so accessible, and now it's way more accessible that everyone could just bust out their phone camera, record themselves, and then pop it up on things like YouTube, which is a legitimate platform. I'm nothing against YouTube, but where's the special?
It needs a new term. You know, it seems like it cheapens it to say like a live taping or something. I don't even that's dated because you're not taping. You know, there's no film, right?
It's not live.
It's not live, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you really call it? You know, but it does need a new name. It's no, but I mean,
and we've had a comic who's come almost every year, and he puts out a special. Almost everything he puts out there, he calls it a special. It's just that's a special.
Are they having success with that?
He might be. I mean,
Okay.
it's all subjective, right?
Sure,
but I know
sure.
a lot of the comics are like, is it really a special? You know, and then you've got other comics who basically are doing like a podcast, but they're doing it like a stand-up routine. So it feels like it's a special, but it's just hey, just talking about current events.
Yeah, I mean, there's like new levels of hacky now, right? Like of just you're putting weird stuff out there and you're taking your shots, and I respect it, but some of it.
So it used to be right that you had that Comedy Central special, that
Yes.
HBO special, the Netflix special, the Hulu. Now it's YouTube, and now it's like It's basically just you filmed your set.
I mean, I think now probably top tier is still going to be Netflix or HBO, right? Like I think those are probably big subscription services where if you put it on there, people. Hulu, I think you have to know the comic already. Like I'll probably go watch your Hulu release because I really like comedy, but I don't know if people just in their home scrolling on Hulu are going to watch it. Whereas on, you know, like who's like one of the Chris Rock. It's like when that released, it's like I don't even know who he is, but it's on HBO.
Yeah.
He's never come up. We're going to watch it. He probably reached a whole new audience that he had never seen before. You know, Netflix might be the closest thing to that. People just going, I like comedy. We'll see who this is. But
Comedy Central used to do these 30-minute specials.
Yeah.
Just 30 minutes. You need 30 minutes. And a lot of our local comics have 30 minutes, or they can get close to it.
I think Don't Tell fills that gap. And if I'm, you know, to stroke my own ego, it's like I think that's part of what I'm looking to do next year is if people are in those, probably not 30 minutes, just for like budget, you know. But I think, you know, if I could do 2 shows next year where I have, you know, 6 or 7 comics, showcase style, and they know like we're trying to get your best. This isn't just a regular show, and the crowd knows what we're doing. In hopes of, you know, we can at least get a really well produced 5 minutes for you, but potentially up to 10 or 15, depending on how your night goes.
It sounds like you're trying to create your own like Just for Laughs.
I would love to do something like that. I mean, you know, and I don't think I need to be the person doing it. I just think there are a lot of people in DFW who could play that small part.
Yeah.
And then collectively, I think we're all going to benefit if we do that. It's like, if I can do the I'm a fan of version of that, and, you know, my audience knows like, well, because if I did that, I would probably want to release, you know, 10 minutes, you know, this performer this month, this performer that month, in between podcast things where it's just kind of this like, oh, they put another one out, and now this comic has something to submit to venues, to festivals, and maybe people just start going, what's going on down in North Texas? What's happening down there? I keep seeing these people pop up, right? And it's like, if I can play my little part, you guys play your little part, and you know, there doesn't need to be this one.
Everybody eats.
Exactly. You know, and it's like, if the scene collectively is improving, then great. Like if all of a sudden you have 30 new performers that are just A level and they're local and they want to come work out at your spot all the time, everybody wins, you know? And,
so how are you picking which comic you want to get behind to help them make that dream come true?
I'm still adjusting it. With Lawrence, he actually talked to me, but it was weird because I was looking for somebody. I was like, I want to do one, and I have my style that I love. You know, I love a good, it probably sounds really like cliche and gross, you know, like it's kind of like one of those words like organic. Everybody just overuses it. But I do love a theme. I like some overall direction of your material, even if it's just silly and dumb. Like Andrew Santino, one of his specials was a cheeseburger. And he's like, I just want to be fast food, digestible comedy for your hard day. It's not this deep thing, but there's still this theme of that, and I like that. I can work with that. With Lawrence, I don't know if y'all are familiar with much of that. Yeah, crippling meth addiction ruined his life, his marriage. They found out, they have a child afterwards, and he went and got sober. And he was talking to me about, he kind of turned over that leaf. He's ready to bury that. That guy's gone. I want to get it out now and do it right.
Yeah.
And so that's what I can kind of get excited about. You brought this kind of reason for recording it. Like what makes this clump of things go together that you feel like you want to release it? Then I can kind of get excited. And so when a lot of his material is just, anger issues, feeling like a loser, all these types of things, and the struggles he had with his mom, and then he was raised by his grandma and all these things. So then when it came time to release it, again, that article I read, it's like I'm thinking more of like when I used to sit down for a good movie, I love how the opening can like refocus you of like, here's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
And so I tried to go kind of the opposite with him. He was saying, I want to feel like I'm going to this thing where it's like, this is my event or whatever, but I'm a loser. I'm by myself.
Yeah.
So
that's why the empty subway stuff with empty dart was it?
Yep.
Train? Yeah,
Riding on the train,
Yeah.
and then even when he's in the club, he's at the table by himself, and everybody in the background. And that was all just people there that night. He just it's like nobody's coming over to like chat him up or anything, And it's kind of where it is. He's like he's had some success, but he's burned some bridges. There's some things to make up for, and
well, I think this truth in comedy thing you speak of is super huge and powerful. And I think a lot of audiences connect with that. That's why whenever I watch, jokes, I'm like, is that true? That happened?
it's my problem with some of the veteran ones. I think they're afraid to shed that old formula. There are some people who've like made it to whatever that means for some people, but they've had success that other comics would really love.
Yeah.
They've not continued in that success, and they're still here locally, and it's like they're clinging to that old version. And it's like, I think you're ready to transcend that and become this version who you are now after all those lessons that you've learned, and that honesty and openness would probably make a really killer set. Mm-hmm. But I think they're afraid to let that guard down and be viewed as like less than or something, So what I look for is, one, just do I think you're funny? Personally, do I laugh at it? That's the ultimate goal. It's like the whole podcast, it's called I'm a Fan of. Do I enjoy it? That's really the prerequisite. And then after that, if I'm going to invest money, like I talked to Michael Pasvar about it, and I was like, I don't want to tell you how to do it, but here's what I would like to see you do. And that would give me confidence that if we film it, it's got a good chance of it being pretty good. And he took that advice and he ran with it. But he's already a pretty motivated person,
sure.
And so Lawrence was the same way. It's like his was put together a little more quickly. But he spent he was in the gym for like 3 months straight. He's like, I just want to not even think about my image when I'm up there. I want to focus on the material. So he was even taking like his personal health to this whole thing. Just taking it seriously, So with one of those things, I believe Michael Pasvar's set's going to be really funny, but there's a good chance it's just not, right? That could just happen, but I'm still going to back it. And if he wants to release it, I'm going to release it no matter what, because it's like you've put this effort in.
Yeah.
If you're ready to go with it, I'm going to go with it, and let's see what happens, because you also never know what's going to hit with everybody else.
For sure.
So who am I to say? It's like, I just want to like you. If you make me laugh and you seem like you're going to take it seriously, that's a good start. And then, I don't know. Who would you want to work with? Not names, but like what type of person? If you're talking about backing it with Comedy Arena and filming something, like what?
I don't know. You go back to the one-man show concept, and I think that's something really cool about that. Whether you're playing multiple characters, but there's still a story that's being told, and it's really, it's connecting you not just on a humor level, but maybe there's another emotion that's being checked as well. I think that'd be really, pretty powerful.
Yeah. Y'all get my wheels turning about improv, because who is Middleditch and Schwartz?
Yeah.
Is that right? Essentially that's as close as you can get to like an improv special, I guess.
Yeah, the stuff that Ben Schwartz is putting out right now is great. But you've also got Dropout is a big thing now.
I don't think I know that. What is that?
Dropout basically is the new College Humor, but they got their own streaming platform, and it's basically a celebration of improvisers and the brilliant things that they can create. And that works for the screen. Mm-hmm. Probably, I guess, this generation's Who's Line, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they do long form comedy, which is something completely new to audience. I'm talking about Middle Ditch and Schwartz, or at least Ben Schwartz and Friends. So that's a completely different, I think, comedy thing that not a lot of audiences have seen yet. It's big in Chicago, but you know, here or more national.
Well, and I think we're going to have our own little flavor here that we're not aware of what it is. Like, you know, these areas have their styles. I don't know that we've necessarily found what is DFW comedy. You know, like if you were going to put labels on it, like what are they doing over there? It's like if you say East Coast or West Coast, you start getting some stereotypes, whether they're true or not.
Yeah.
If you say Chicago, you do. But I don't think people know what to think of Dallas, of Fort Worth, of DFW, of all the surrounding areas. I don't even think they really know how it's laid out if you're not from here.
Sure.
Well, not yet, too, because if you think about how long the DFW area has been doing improv, I mean, like, I could go back to maybe Phil Larson and Ad-Lib's days, and then you have your 4-day weekend in Fort Worth. But before them, I couldn't tell you who was doing it, and that's less than 30 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, it's nothing but opportunity, right?
Yeah, so that's less than 30 years ago. So improv to the DFW area is relatively, I mean, 30 years is relatively new.
Yeah, I'm still learning, but I think what I hear the most is that, LA and New York, they have the infrastructure. You know, they have the agents, they have the companies, all that. So right now it seems like, okay, maybe that's the small part I play is like, I'm going to have my little group that offers these services.
Yeah.
But these other people are going to have to do it too. It's like there's going to need to be some other people who really love comedy, love improv, and think like, okay, I'm even if I'm not a performer, what can I bring to the table here?
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's what a lot of the performers are missing is that there's not a rung on the ladder, there's not an opportunity that they're aware of that they can do other than just performing live. You know, and like you said, I guess I can film all my stuff myself, but I feel like I'm on an island. You know, so it's like the burden with Pazvar, for instance. Like, okay, well, if we're going to release it on my YouTube, it's like, what are we doing to build this page so that when he releases it on there, he feels like it wasn't a waste of time, and more importantly, it didn't waste his material. You know, I mean, I feel like I'm aware of that though because there's going to be no ownership on my part. You know, I mean, we'll agree to terms on it being released on the YouTube, and the contract will have those things, but if he hated the way it was executed with me and he decided, you know, it didn't get any exposure, it didn't do anything for me, and then he were to get an offer from Netflix, it's like he has full legal rights that he can go re-record every minute of that with somebody else if he wants to, you know, and I like that because I feel like it puts the pressure on me of like, you know, they don't have to stick with you. Like you also need to perform here because I hear these...
Got skin in the game.
Yeah, I hear these smaller companies that people work with that are slightly above my level of, you know, I'm trying to get to where they're doing, and I hear some of these terms they have where it just seems like quantity. You know, we're going to pay you $1,500 to film it. We own this material. We're going to release it on this thing, and then you go look at their page, and it's like they've got like 150 comics on there, and there's no quality control. There's no barrier to entry. And it just feels so depressing. And I was like, I think I'm going to try to go totally opposite of that way of where even if you're massively successful, I don't think I'm really going to make that much money off of putting it on my YouTube page. It's more about just building that brand, you know, of, you know, I'd rather make money off the podcast and other things. And if we do the recordings right, we can probably break even off ticket sales. So I'm not really losing anything, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's a good plan for now, but I could get into it and go, this is a terrible plan. I need 90% of every recording. Like, you know? I don't know.
I thought of one answer to your earlier question about producing shows. Here's what I would love. Here's my feedback to comics. If you send me, hey, this is the show I'm interested in producing. Here's the description for your website. Here's the creative assets. Basically give me everything that I need so it's ready to go. That's one of the ways I booked A-Train show. So show me that it's not just an idea, but it's actually thought out. And even if you got who's going to be in it, give me everything I need so I can just say, yes, let's go. Yeah.
Basically taking a lot of the work off the table for you. You can just decide if it's fully fleshed out, you can go, yep, we like it.
Yeah. And even if I just like 10% of it, that's enough for me to be like, okay, maybe we can tweak this, this, and this. But knowing that most of the stuff's already built and ready to go, let's go.
I like it. All right, let's close it up, though. Any parting words you'd like about Comedy Arena, yourselves? What do you want the people to know?
Nah, just thanks for the opportunity.
I appreciate y'all making the drive down.
We love talking shop. So usually it's just he and I just talking shop. But.
Okay. Time for y'all to start.
Yeah, and if you stayed this long, thank you. That's quite the road trip that you're working on.
You'd be surprised. Not only do they listen to the end, but the new listeners go deep for some reason. I don't know why. They're listening to older episodes where I'm like, I don't I wish they didn't listen to that one.
In all seriousness, I will say with sincerity that we do appreciate a lot of the comics in this community, that a lot of them are putting in the work and they're trying really hard. And we realize that we are a bit of a commute up in McKinney when so many people live in the Dallas area. It does not go lost on us that people are getting in their car and spending, a good chunk of time in their car to only provide maybe 5 to 10 minutes.
Or if they take the tolls, that's even...
Yeah, we're taking tolls.
financial
Like that stuff doesn't
commitment.
go lost on us. We do see you and appreciate you and just want to say thank you because we know that they got they got options and choices. So the fact that we're even in that discussion, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
so
Well, hey, I've heard good things from the people I've talked to, comics and audience members. And, the whole reason I went up there to begin with was someone was like, yeah, I'm performing up here. It's a great place. Come check it out. So I've heard, there's always going to be a couple people, but overwhelming.
That's how you know you've made it when there's a few
it's
people.
overwhelmingly positive. The negative I've heard, it's like, well, that makes sense why you would think that. But anyway, appreciate y'all making the drive down.
Thank you.
Doors always open anytime.
Thank you, Travis.
Excellent. Thank you.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.